All right. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to tweet out that I'm live on Twitter, and it kept saying, whoops, something went wrong. And then I try to tweet it again, and it's like, oh, you already posted that. And I'm just like, what? And then I look at my account, and I tweeted twice in like 2 seconds somehow that I'm live on YouTube, but it didn't say it went through at any moment. So I don't know. Sorry. That was just weird. I was a little annoyed. Sorry about the delay here. But we have our second preseason game in the books here for the Chicago Bulls. I think that I don't know, man. This is a weird one, honestly, tonight. There's definitely some good. I think that we got to see, obviously, Giddey have a much better game compared to the first one, so that's a really good sign. We saw, obviously, Trey Jones. I think Trey Jones was by far the best, or maybe not by far, but I think he was the best player for the Bulls tonight. His impact across the court on both ends was crazy. He was getting steals that I'm just like, wow. And he had some really nice moments on offense as well. So like really shout out to him. I think he deserves like player of the game, at least in my opinion. Saw some good stuff where Buzelis, while he didn't like have like as big of a game as last game, we still saw some like wow moves, at least in my opinion, from Buzelis. So I was like, wow, like that's an impressive move. He missed the shot, but like that was still impressive from me. We had some injuries, unfortunately, though. No Kevin Huerter tonight, no Julian Phillips tonight. Vucevic decided to rest, and obviously Kobe is still out. So that is, I think, a little bit disappointing overall because I think we need to kind of see Phillips play, and so he's fighting for a rotation spot, and so him missing this game, I think, is kind of huge. I think it's like really poor timing from him. These little injuries from the Bulls in training camp into preseason have been really annoying. I know that we've seen, Patrick Williams was first, where he had his little ankle issue, to then Josh Giddey having a little bit of an ankle issue. They're playing, but now Kevin Huerter and Julian Phillips both missed tonight, which is pretty disappointing overall, but hopefully they're back in the next game here. I think that no matter what, we're just going to have to just accept that the Bulls have turnover issues, because holy hell, the Bulls had 8 turnovers in the first quarter after having 9 in the first quarter in their first game. So that needs to just be cleaned up. We had 21 turnovers overall tonight. We had 19 heading into the fourth quarter. So 19 turnovers in 3 quarters is just unacceptable by this Bulls team. That's when most of the main guys were playing. So that's got to get cleaned up quickly. That's kind of the biggest issue that we got going on. Defensively, though, man, like this game is just it's a back and forth with how I look at this team defensively. That second quarter was definitely a good quarter defensively. I think that we can all agree with that. But the offense was horrific in that quarter. There was a lineup that Billy Donovan threw out there that I want to talk about, but I was just like, what is this lineup, bro? And it didn't do well in that quarter. I think defensively it had some effect, but it is what it is, though. So obviously this is the time to try some weird lineups, and Donovan took advantage of it, but I would not play that lineup moving forward, and we'll talk about that tonight. But thank you guys all for being here. Thank you guys for all tuning into the post-game streams during preseason. I'm glad people are watching. If you have not already hit the like button on the stream, please do. Helps me out a ton here. If you're new to the channel, like Bulls content, please subscribe. We're doing post-game streams all season long here, so please feel free to tune into post-game streams, as we will be continuously doing them on this channel all season long, and doing other content. What's going on, y'all? I see you, Zay, over. Good to see my stream element spot is finally up. Want to see Kevin Knox play? I am not shocked that he didn't play today. I don't even know if he was there, honestly. I'm going to assume he was. I didn't really see him. But I'm not shocked if he didn't play, just because like I'm sure he's not really in any sort of condition to play right now. That's not me saying he's like out of shape, but just game conditioning is just different than anything that you can do by yourself. So maybe we see him against Milwaukee. Maybe that's like the proper time to get him his first game if he's there. But I would like for him to at least get like one scrimmage in before we throw him out there, at least. Because yeah, he needs to just get ramped up probably. I don't blame them for not playing. 8 is less than 9. That's progress. Yeah, that's a little bit of progress, especially against the same team. But I'm just definitely concerned about the turnovers, especially in the half court from the Bulls. We saw early on a whole bunch of turnovers that was just like, what are we doing? Like, they're a bad pass. We get up in the air and we just have nowhere to go. we even saw just some turnovers where it's just like we're just getting trapped near the baseline and we just, you know, gets hit off of us out of bounds, and it's just like, come on, man. So I'm interested in seeing how the Bulls are going to find a way to lower that number. But I don't really know if there's a way. I think we just have to accept that the Bulls are just going to turn the ball over at a high rate this season, which is fine. We're developing. Guys need to develop their handle. Maybe Kobe coming back might honestly help. Like, I know that he's also kind of turnover prone, but I do think he is one of the better, if not the best handles on the squad. So maybe just him coming back might just kind of lower the turnover rate a little bit. But yeah, we got to find a way to lower these turnovers, man. It's rough, especially early in the game. Bulls did a good job, though, I think, in that first quarter, even just with all the chaos going on. Now, I won't lie to you, this first quarter for me, it's kind of a blur, just because Chicago Sports Network was having so many issues tonight. I don't know how many of you guys are using Chicago Sports Network just like directly, but it was freezing for me multiple times. And also, after we get back from commercial break, like, I'm missing like the first play. So I do apologize if I don't remember everything from that first quarter, but it was just this first quarter for me was just annoying as hell because the feed for me was freezing, and then I refresh it and like we're, you know, already back from commercial, but like we're a play in and I didn't see the play. So I do apologize about the first quarter from me. But overall, though, good job by the Bulls for staying in it. I think that the 3-point shot in that first quarter helped them a lot. They made 6 threes in that first quarter, so that kind of kept them in the game. And so they did a good job of that, of staying in it. So props to them for hitting their shots, getting some open 3-point looks in that quarter, knocking them down. That did not continue into the second quarter. There was a lot going on in the second quarter that was ridiculous. But yeah, this is just a weird game. It's a really weird game. Also, the Bulls got to hit their free throws. We shot 59% from the free throw line. I know that, you know, at the end of the game there, we missed 2, but the Bulls were 8 for 14 from the free throw line going to halftime. I was just like, Jesus, man, like, good job getting to the line. We had 14 free throws compared to the Cavs 9 at halftime, or Cavs 10 at halftime. But we only made 8 and the Cavs made 9. So, we gotta do better. Just gotta clean up some things overall. My biggest takeaway is Noah might be legit elite at getting to the line. I think that no matter what sort of role Noah ends up going into, whether that's him being like a, you know, more of an on-ball star or being more of a role player or quality starter, I do think he's going to be having a knack to get to the line. I really do. His length just bothers the defenders that they just have to make a decision. It's just like, you either got to foul him or he's going to get a layup, which is just great. Also, I can just, even though tonight he didn't have an offensive rebound, I don't think, like, his length just bothers the defense when trying to get the rebound. Like, you can tell that they're actively trying to box him out in this game, and that's going to also draw fouls. So, yeah, I really think Noah's going to have a good time getting to the line, or find ways to get to the line in his time in his career. Obviously, we got a lot to work on. The jump shot wasn't looking too great tonight. And such, but yeah, man, I'm liking, even though tonight wasn't good from Noah, like the missed threes and everything. I honestly liked what I saw still. Like, we saw a defensive possession where he switched and he was still easily able to stay in front of the guard, and he's consistently still fighting for offensive rebounds, and even when he's not getting them. So I appreciate it from him. So we'll see. Obviously, I think G League time's gonna be ahead of him, but I think that's totally fine. But either way, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. It's still early days, obviously. I hear we have a new signing. I do, you know who it is. So our most recent signing, and you guys might have to tell me some info if you have it. Our most recent signing is Kevin Knox, who was a former first-round pick for the New York Knicks. I believe, was it 2017? I'm trying to remember back when it was, but Knox did not have any success in New York. I know he went to Detroit at one point. I don't remember the rest of his career, though. He's been a journeyman. Was he in the Warriors at one point? He was. Yeah, it was last season. So it's been a long journey for him already in a very short career. What year was it? It was the 2018 draft. Okay. But he's our most recent signing. I'm trying to get info if it's a Exhibit 10, Exhibit 9 deal. My guess it's going to be an Exhibit 10 deal, which makes the most sense. Oh, actually, we waived him already. Okay, I did not even know that we waived him already. That's funny as hell. Okay, it is Exhibit 10 deal. All right, finally, that's good to know from us. But so Kevin Knox is then, if you're wondering, he's actually no longer even on our training camp roster. Then Kevin Knox is already waived. The reason why we did this though is that if you sign a player to the Exhibit 10 deal and then you waive him and he goes and plays for your G League team for at least, I think it's 60 days. At bare minimum, then he gets like an extra chunk of money. So that's why we did this with Kevin Knox. So he will not be playing with he's not gonna be part of training camp. We already waived him, which is good, I think. But expect for him to play for the Windy City Bulls later on when that gets up and running. So we'll get to see him play with Yuki, Ulrich, and we saw Emmanuel Miller for the first time tonight. So those are our 3 two-way contracts. So Yuki is one of them. Lachlan Ulrich is the other, and then he's second, and then Emmanuel Miller is our 3rd two-way contract. So they will all be spending time with the Windy City Bulls this season. Kevin Knox looks like he'll be also heading there when that season starts. So to answer your question about that, Christopher, we will not be seeing Kevin Knox at training camp in the preseason at all. He is already waived. So glad we got that info out of the way. I was honestly, when we signed him yesterday, I was like searching around. I'm like, I'm looking for info on this signing. Was it just a training camp deal? But it was Exhibit 10, and so yeah, that's taken care of. Okoro should start. So I'm thinking that from what we've seen so far, Okoro is going to start. He did not have the best game today. He missed a lot of threes and missed some shots at the rim that he probably should have made. Defensively, he had some really good possessions against Mitchell, especially. He had a really good possession against Hunter that he made Hunter have an air ball. I do think that for what I have seen so far, I'd be okay with Okoro starting. However, I do think that I don't know if he's going to necessarily get starter minutes. He might not even close the games, but I think having him in the starting lineup, especially when Kobe gets back, I think having him out there will kind of help the defense smooth out a little bit more, because the backcourt we know is not going to be giving as much defense. So yeah, I'd be okay with the Okoro starting, especially for what I've seen from the defensive end. I think last game was a nice game from him. Like, he moved well, he hit some threes, he was able to get through some screens pretty nicely. This game was definitely a little bit rougher. He missed some shots that I feel like he has to make. He's got to hit at least one of those threes. He had some wide open looks tonight and he didn't drain them. And he had some open looks at the rim, or like kind of like just makeable shots at the rim, but he didn't make any, and he made one and then he missed the free throw. So yeah, this is definitely answering one of my questions though, about, because like if you watch my preseason video, that I was like, hey, what is going to be Okoro's role on offense? And it pretty much seems similar to what he did with the Cavs. Like, it doesn't really seem any different, at least for now, right? I'm also totally fine if that's him in the starting lineup and it's like a similar role for him on offense. I showed a play yesterday about like a play that can kind of give him a 3-point look, but other than that though, it's just going to be a lot of catch and shoot threes and some shots at the rim that hopefully he makes. But defensively, I do like what he's shown so far. I appreciate the point of attack defense that many other players on this roster don't bring. So I think it is totally fine for him to start. We'll see how many minutes he gets. Like, I won't be shocked if he starts but only plays like 25 minutes a night. But yeah, we'll see. There's definitely some interesting ideas with what we can do. Speaking of starting lineup though, we did get to see Tre Jones start. I was a little bit shocked by that because we saw Kevin Huerter started last game, but he's obviously injured today. And obviously Kobe would start, but Kevin Huerter started last game and Kobe's still out. So I thought Io was actually going to start tonight, but they instead started Tre Jones, and I think Tre Jones had the best performance out of any Bull tonight. So big props to him. But yeah, it's interesting to see who Billy's going to kind of mix and match. I want to talk about a lineup in the second quarter in a little bit here that was a little odd. But yeah, I think that Tre Jones, he had a really great game tonight, and I'm very thankful that the Bulls did re-sign him, and he's looking really good. Also, shout out to Zach Collins, man. He's had 2 good games in preseason, and he was really solid tonight as well. So big shout out to him. He's played really well. I think he's been the best center so far in preseason. So right now, I think for now he has the backup center role, assuming Vooch is starting. kind of on lockdown at the moment. But I think Jalen Smith also had a pretty decent game tonight on the defensive end. So, yeah, shout out to Zach Collins, man, because I won't lie, I was definitely skeptical when the Bulls got him in that Levine trade. I was like, man, I don't know. I feel like he's really not really doing too much. He comes over here. He's, he played pretty well for a good stretch, and so far in preseason he's done well. So we got to see obviously in the regular season here, but he's done well, and I appreciate it. Just gotta stay healthy. It sucked on League Pass. Okay, I'm glad that it was Chicago Sports Network, man. Like, because the Chicago Sports Network, I've had a horrific time at the start of preseason with them. They just continue to be horrible. I'm gonna continue complaining about them. I'm sorry, but yeah. I looks like he's season ready. Zach Collins, Trey Jones were awesome tonight. Yeah, I had some rough shots that weren't really his fault. Like, there was that one shot, it was like an inbound with like 2 seconds left. He had to put it up. But he continues to get downhill and makes those downhill layups, man. Like, he does a really good job of getting those downhill buckets. Yeah, I'm still looking for some improvement from him defensively, but like, we've seen some moments from him. But yeah, I think I honestly looks ready, which is great to see from after him having shoulder surgery. Like, he looks ready to go, which is a good sign. I'm glad to see it. Never cared for Knox. Yeah, I never really cared for Knox either. But yeah, it was just interesting to see though, because like there was no confirmation of what the deal was. But now we do have. Thanks for answering my question about Kevin Knox. Too bad he will not be in the main roster. He could use his 3-point shot. Was he really a good 3-point shooter though in his career? I don't think he was that consistent. Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know, honestly. I feel, yeah, this is what I remember from him. Like, he was really consistent from 3-point range. The other issue with Knox is just his inefficiency. Like, he wasn't efficient enough from, like, obviously 3-point range, but then everywhere else on the court he also wasn't efficient enough. Doesn't really do anything else either. So, I don't know. I'm personally fine without him. I think this Bulls team has plenty of forward depth anyway. I mean, I personally do not want anybody to take away minutes from Buzelis and also Asenge if Asenge is going to get any time. I'm personally fine with this, honestly. I think Knox needs to just go find his way back into NBA roles somehow through the G League, which is fine. I'm totally cool with that. I'm sorry, hold on, I need to adjust my camera. I just realized I didn't change a setting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see though how he does with the Windy City Bulls, assuming he will be going there. Smith also looked good today. I do think Smith did look pretty good on defensive end. He had one defensive miscue, which I won't blame him for. Like, Zach Collins had the same defensive miscue. But yeah, I think Smith honestly looked pretty good today. He missed some threes though that still need to go down. That's kind of the biggest issue for me right now. But made some shots in the interior, set some good screens, and played well. He got some block shots defensively, which is really good to see from him because he's not really known for being a defender. So yeah, once again, I do think that Vucevic needs to be off this roster because it would just make life so much easier, and we would just have Collins start and Smith come off the bench, and they get their playing time, and we're looking all right. But Vucevic is still here, unfortunately. But that's a thing for the front office to figure out. League pass sucked for both teams. Man, I'm really sorry then personally for you. That really does suck. Like, I understand that preseason basketball is not the most important thing right now, but I still expect the production to still be decent. And tonight, Chicago Sports Network's production was awful. If you guys weren't there for the start of the game, the Chicago Sports Network was panning to the national anthem starting, and like we got like 5 seconds into the national anthem, and then it cut to commercial because something went wrong with the camera. Like it was like panning to like the singer, and then it was like black screen and like some green stripes. And so they had to cut that away and go to commercial break during the national anthem, for God's sake. And then we come back and we finally get the starting lineup, but then we go to another commercial break, and then we come back to the game, and 13 seconds have already come off the clock, and Jarrett Allen's at the free throw line. I was like, what did I just miss? Like, what's happening? Then in the middle of the first quarter, my feed just completely stopped. So I can even show you in the recording that I have. I was just like, what happened? So I had to refresh the page, and then it came back. But it was just an absolute shit show tonight from Chicago Sports Network. So I don't know what the hell was going on. There was also moments when it was like Stacey King, and I'm sorry I don't know the play-by-play guy tonight. I do apologize. I was kind of seeing red a little bit early on, so I didn't take in their names. But like they're talking, and all of a sudden then like I can't hear what they're saying anymore. I was like, what? I like it just like the audio would just slowly go down, and they're like trying to play the crowd volume or something. I don't know what the hell was going on tonight. But it was a poor production from Chicago Sports Network, and I'm not afraid to call it that network. I'm sorry. This is just unacceptable. So yeah, I apologize for my rant, but I'm a little pissed off just because like my recording tonight is not good. And I wanted to, you know, do film breakdown tonight, but unfortunately we will not be getting that. Like I'll have some things to show you, but I just won't have everything I want to show you tonight, which is just unfortunate. Knox, 1 year you're shooting his rookie year. Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, even then it wasn't the best. Like 37% from 3-point from the field is not good. 34% from 3-point range is also not the best. So yeah. I saw that they were playing with the sound. I don't know what they were doing with the sound. Onion is his name. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm sorry for the rant. I don't want to spend too much time at Chicago Sports Network, but this network has sucked. It's so bad. And unfortunately I'm paying them $20 a month. So it's incredible for a company that doesn't have to do anything good, and they still get paid $20 a month from people like me. So congratulations, y'all. So CM Sharp, appreciate you joining the Discord. What's up, my guy? Great game. Wasn't a fan of the Corals threes, but Carr made up for it. We need to hit a lot of the free throws we missed. Attacking Mobley wasn't smart either, but I love the win. Yeah, you kind of hit on a couple things. Yeah, Okoro definitely needs to hit some of those shots. The free throws were definitely bad. Yeah, Mobley, we see how much of a beast this guy is, man. This guy is just so hard to score on. Yeah, he's really annoying to on the defensive end. But too many turnovers tonight. Once again, Bulls got to clean that up. But yeah, I mean, we'll take the win. Obviously, it was fun to watch the G League squad at the end of the game with Yuki. Yuki had that ISO possession that he almost hit the and1 at the end there. I was like, oh my god, that was fun. Picture was also choppy, not crystal clear when watching the game. So I don't know what they were doing. So like with Chicago Sports Network, you can like set the quality to like 1920 by 1080, which is what I usually do. But then just randomly, it just would switch back to auto, and I didn't do that. So I don't know what they were doing, honestly, today. They were doing something weird, which I guess preseason is the time to experiment, but God almighty, I was really annoyed because, like, once again, I have my recording tonight, but it's just, there's just a bunch of crap in it that I'm like, I didn't see what happened here. We also, there's also like moments throughout this game where I'm like, I completely missed what the play was because we were zooming in on a player's face, and like the play has been going for like for 5 seconds, so I don't know what happened. Just shows you the difference in production level when it, like, I'm not saying that Cleveland's is like great or anything, but Cleveland's production on the last game was just by far better, and we saw the game, and there weren't that many issues, and I'm sure we used our cameras and everything, or maybe even used their feed, but I don't know what the hell happened tonight. So yeah, get up you high on Mobley, but I low-key feel he should be in MVP combos. I think that if Mobley does take the step forward that I think he can take, that he will be in MVP conversations. Like, this guy is just... if he's taking those 3-point shots where he's, like, running the pick and roll with Allen and, like, he's willing just to shoot the 3-ball off of it, and he's draining those sometimes, like, it's something crazy just to look at. I'm like, Jesus, man. Like, a 7'1" guy, or I don't even know how tall he is, honestly, but he's just very lengthy and incredibly lengthy forward that is able to just to dribble his way into a 3-point shot is just, like, Jesus. And then not to mention then is just defense on both sides, like, defensively, he could guard the perimeter, he could guard the interior. It's just crazy to watch him. Yeah, he might honestly make his way into MVP conversations if he increases his scoring output this year. And I mean, he's off to a good start. So yeah, always so good. He made his brother disappear. Hey man, what's his brother's name? Is it Elijah? I never remember what his brother's name is. Isaiah. That's it. Yeah, Isaiah Mobley. Yeah, crazy game from Evan Mobley tonight, not Isaiah. All right. Once again, though, I want to just point out a couple of just really cool things that I saw tonight. First and foremost, I want to shout out Trey Jones. 4 steals tonight for Trey Jones. Some of the steals he got, I was just honestly shocked at. I was just like, wow, like you got that one. Like there was one where he's playing, he's kind of like playing a little bit ahead of his man, and he's like, he's guarding a guy in the slot, but he's like showing a little bit to kind of help in case the top of the key guy drives, and then the guy decides to pass it to his man, but he gets the steal off of it. I was just like, Jesus, man, that's an incredible steal by him. So he got many steals tonight. He also hit 2 threes tonight, which I think is huge to see from Trey Jones, because we don't like Trey Jones' 3-point shot. He doesn't usually take many. So him hitting 2 threes tonight is always a great sign. 4 for 5 from the field. He got, I think, our first bucket of the game where he had a nice back cut or a cut to the basket that Collins found him for. So I think he was, to me, the best player tonight, which is great to see from him. It'll be interesting to see just kind of how much the Bulls and Billy Donovan want to use Trey Jones, because obviously the backcourt, the crowdedness in the backcourt, right? But with Giddey's height, like I do think that you're going to be seeing like Giddey like not playing the 4, but like kind of being like put down into like a forward position sometimes, and you have like Trey Jones and Kobe White out there. And you just, you know, with Giddey's height, you can just kind of run that sort of lineup with the 3 guards in a sense. And we've already kind of seen it in preseason already, but as we'll see how long Kobe's out. But yeah, if Kobe's going to be out, then Trey Jones starting, you know, I'd be okay with it. Kevin Huerter obviously is part of this conversation as well. So again, we're just have to see how much the Bulls want to use him. But he does seem pretty valuable with how well he plays on both ends, which I appreciate, because his defense is pretty underrated, but it's because of how small he is. But I appreciate how well he plays defensively for his size. So great stuff from Trey Jones tonight. He's also a guy who doesn't turn it over. So I kind of, that's probably the reason why I'm really valuing Trey Jones really highly right now. It's just because he just doesn't turn the ball over really. So hopefully that continues. He can just bring some stability to the Bulls offense. Yeah, shout out to him. I think Zach Collins then is probably then like my second guy tonight. I'm just like, he's just been so solid. Hit a 3 at the end of the half. Good pass from Giddey. Just a really just solid game from him. Some turnovers still from him that need to get worked out, but just solid game from him. And then I think Giddey probably gets my third best tonight. Giddey had a rough start, man, and it's just gonna be my watch of Giddey's just gonna be very like focused on him this season, just because he got the contract, man. Like there is no more like, oh, like, don't worry, like he's not getting paid or anything. This is the highest paid player on the Bulls roster right now. And so like this all comes down to like the expectations, and like, listen, man, like you're getting paid $25 million a year. I have some pretty high expectations of you. The start of the game was rough for him. He had 2 really bad turnovers to start the game. He had a pretty horrible possession where he missed a shot where it got blocked, and I was just like, I don't know like what he's looking at early on. Then though he got subbed out early, he came back in and he played pretty nicely after that. He had a pretty nice take to the basket. It was almost like a Euro step, little shot off the glass that I was like, hey, we need more of that. He then hit that 3-point shot at the buzzer. That was really funny. So I guess, you know, give Josh Giddey the ball at the end of the game clock at all times, because he'll hit a miracle. But we saw him get to the line a little bit. We saw him just mostly drive more, which is good. Like, we need Giddey to continue his driving to the basket, which he just didn't do in the first preseason game, which, again, one preseason game. Still, though, there was just too many moments to me tonight that I'm just like, you got to be better when you have the ball in your hands. And he's got to find a way to score. There was a moment where he decided to post up a guy when Evan Mobley's all the way down the other end of the court. And he decided to post up a guy, and he missed a little, like, 8-footer or something. And I'm just like, we got to score there. So, once again, though, I appreciate what he did when he, you know, not when he doesn't score, right? Like I appreciate that he's still fighting his teammates, which is always needed, and he's still rebounding, which is, again, that's always needed from him. But at the same time, like, I've been adamant about this from day one when it comes to Giddey. He's gonna have to show me that he can score 20 a night, and that's gonna have to happen. Not 20 a night in 1 month, not 20 a night in 1.5 months. It's got to be 20 a night throughout the entire season. So, you know, preseason, it's just preseason now. I'm still some concern and stuff from preseason, but obviously we're going to see the real test in regular season. So that's when it's going to really matter. But much better game tonight. Much better game tonight from Giddey, and I appreciate the bounce back from him. yeah, I'm gonna show a couple of things that I'm just like, and I'm not blaming him for this either. It's just the Bulls offense just looks all out of sorts. And part of the reason why is just like I don't really see a player that can break down the defense one-on-one, and so it puts the Bulls offense in like a weird spot. Which is why I look at Giddey. I'm just like, if you're gonna have the ball in your hands, like I need you to break down a defense one-on-one. But that's never been his game. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he can find that. But there's moments within games like this where we just look at like the Bulls offense looks lost. Hence then some of the turnovers that we see committed. And so I do think Kobe's gonna hopefully come back and maybe sort of clean some of the stuff up, but we're gonna have to find ways to not have like some of these possessions where it gets late in the shot clock and we got nowhere past the 3-point line. There's gotta be some cleanup to that, honestly. But if we continue to push the pace and find ways to get those 3-point shots, especially in transition, then hopefully that'll keep us above water enough to, you know, stay within the games and stuff. So I'm looking at that. Trey Jones rim finishing is special. Honestly, wasn't aware of it. He does finish really well at the rim for his size. It's honestly really impressive with what he does. That is definitely something when he came to the Bulls, I was just like, wow, like he does finish at the rim pretty decently well for how small he is. So yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see with how defenses kind of guard him this year, but his speed allows him to definitely get to the rim pretty nicely and finish. So I'm looking at it. I like Trey so much. I like Trey getting more than Kobe and Io with Kobe. We're at the wait and see, obviously, when Kobe gets here, but we did see a lot of success with Trey Jones and Josh Giddey together last season at the end of the year. So yeah, I don't mind that lineup at all. It is a Giddey's isn't a game fit at the moment as he has delays for joining Drake and a slightly rolled ankle. I did see that. So, which makes sense why he didn't play in the second half of the last game. But yeah, again, we'll wait until obviously the regular season to obviously judge him. It's just there's definitely just some things where I was like, everyone gets like all these hype videos of him working on the preseason, and I'm like, he's like taking pull-up threes and everything, and I'm like, okay, like first and foremost, let me just tell you, I don't ever believe in summer workout videos. I never believe them. Okay, Ben Simmons drains like 10 threes in summer workout videos. I don't believe in them at all. Okay. But people like were hyping up this guy as if he's gonna come in and be like shooting threes off the dribble, and I'm like, okay, listen, bro, like I don't believe it at all, but I would like to see him have a pull-up game this season, and he hasn't shown it so far. So I think that's just kind of one of the things that is disappointing for me, is like, I want you to become a better scorer, but you haven't shown a pull-up game so far in these 2 games at least. But hey, you still have time here. But that's just always something I'm just looking at, like right off the bat. I was like, I would like a pull-up game, please. So yeah, or Roger T. Collins starting and no Vucevic. Hey, I also enjoy that. But we gotta keep Vooch. I think tonight, Giddey's best thing was drawing the fouls. I mean, he had 2 free throws and he had a couple of other drawn fouls, but yeah, like it's the reason why he has to continue driving, even if like he's gotten blocked or something, because like I don't really see anything else he's gonna do with the ball besides obviously pass it, right? So he's gonna have to continue to drive and to try to draw the fouls. I do think obviously the Cavs are a really bad matchup for him, so I appreciate him giving us good value with a pretty bad matchup for him overall. Like the 2 shot blocking centers is tough. So yeah, I do think that's a little tough for him, but he's got to continue to drive, and he did that tonight versus obviously the previous game he didn't do that. So shout out to him again. Like this is good from him from a good bounce back perspective. So let's see how he plays against Milwaukee here and other games. Coach serves a point. What do you mean by that? Like I think honestly, like the way I just view Vooch is just like he just to me is unnecessary. It's because I think this is supposed to be a development year, and so I don't really want to see Vooch around. To me, he's just taking up minutes from like I already know what Vooch is. I'm not looking really to win this year, so yeah, like I don't really see the point of him. But I know that people, if you're looking to win this season, I understand why you want Vooch around. Like it makes a lot of sense. But I don't really see the point of Vooch if for someone like me, right, where I'm like, I just want all the young guys to play, develop well. It's not gonna happen with Vooch really here. He's just taking minutes, and so I would kind of like to get a good gauge on Zach Collins, like get like a full year of Zach Collins to kind of see like hey, maybe the Bulls actually do bring back Zach Collins, right? That's going to be something that I think that, especially the way he's played in these preseason games and how he ended the year last season, like that's something now I'm really starting to consider because he's played solid in a Bulls uniform, which I feel like he wasn't able to say that in times in Portland, and then obviously with the Spurs with some of his injuries. But yeah, like that's something I would like to kind of get a gauge on, but we can't do that with Vooch here, unfortunately. Or it will be less of a gauge, unfortunately, with Vooch here. But I personally do not see the point of Vooch, honestly. He does not need to get 20 a night. See, I disagree, unfortunately. I think if you're going to be a main ball handler in this league and you're going to be a winning team, like your main ball handler has to be a threat to score 20 every night. I don't think there's really any ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think that this is, let me just be clear, okay? Like, this is my perspective of how I view the game. This does not mean I'm right. This is just the way that I view the game, okay? No matter what, to me, your main ball handler, when you look across the league right now, these are guys that are consistently scoring 25 plus a night, and like they can create their own shot at will, shoot it at any point, shoot off the dribble, off screens, anything, okay? I understand that a lot of these guys have the ball in their hands. They don't pass like Giddey, okay? I'm very much aware Giddey is one of the better passers in this league. Okay? Giddey's also a really nice rebounder in this league for a guy that is 6'8". But that does not mean, though, that he is all of a sudden as good of or the same quality of a player that people look at as like in Jalen Brunson or, you know, Kay Cunningham or anything like that. And those are the guys that I'm looking at as like, okay, those are point guards that go out and score. Okay, like they're not pass first. They go out and score, and they're all stars for a reason. Okay, so I think no matter what, this is just the way I view the game. That your main ball handler has to be able to go out and score 25 a night, and I'm not even asking that from Giddey. I'm asking 20 because I don't think Giddey has at any point besides in March. Okay, but even when he had that March, you know, he only averaged 14 points per game last season. Like it's gonna have to be that you're gonna have to be able to go out and put up 20 a night. Okay. And it's I don't really think there's really any other way to look at it. At the bare minimum, okay, the way that I describe is that you have to be able to create your own shot. You just have to be. In an ISO situation, in a mismatch, you got to be able to go out and score. That's just how I look at it. The isolation, as much as people hate, like Bulls fans hate ISO, and I honestly think it's just because DeRozan gave them nightmares from it, but the isolation is by far one of the most effective ways to score in this league today. It's how this league runs, okay? And having an ISO score they can go to at any given moment is very, very effective. But Bulls fans are just like, they have PTSD for some reason from it. But you need that in this league. Like, go look at what the MVP just did. He's by far one of the best isolation scorers in the league. It's not even a question, okay? SGA can score in ISO at any given moment. Any defender, any mismatch doesn't matter, right? He can score, and you can say that a lot for many other all-stars in this league. So when it comes to Giddey, right, I'm not asking him to be the top scorer, but I need you to, if you're gonna have the ball in your hands, you need to average 20 at bare minimum to me. I don't think that's really too much to ask. But with that being said, I think that if he's not going to go and do that, then he has to find a way to be a consistent three-point shooter, especially off ball, and continue to do the rebounding and continue to pass well. If he's not going to have the, even when he doesn't have the ball that much, but play more of a Draymond Green type role. But you know, this whole idea that he can average 14, 8, and 8 and be somehow an all-star off of that, I don't know what people are thinking that. That's not enough. Like you're not. I can't have my main ball handler averaging 14, 8, and 8. That's not enough. It just isn't. And I think that's a fair assessment from me. So, look, I'm looking forward to, like, let me be clear. I don't want Giddey to fail, but he has to go out and prove to me that he can score better, especially with the ball in his hands and not rely on others to set him up. So let's see what happens here this season. We're not going to be, making, all and be all judgment calls off 2 preseason games. But I'm hoping to see a better pull-up game from him this season. I'm hoping to see a better pick-and-roll game from him this season. And the ability to just have better counter moves to when the defense throws some different things at him, and not just resort to the floater. So there's got to be more from him this season. That's all I ask for from him. Like, at bare minimum, I want 18 points per game from him this season. because he had, at the end of last season, he had the second most touches per game, just behind Jokic. And I'm like, okay, if he's gonna have the second most touches out of anybody else in the damn league, then you gotta score. It just, you can't argue about it. He just has to score. So that's how it's gonna have to work. Let's see here. Let me catch up. Thanks for postgame coverage. I haven't been able to watch these preseason games. Taro, do you need to message me about anything? Like, I can maybe kind of hook you up with something, or get you some website that I'm not gonna say on stream, but I think you know what I'm talking about. That I think we have every right to use. Maybe message me on Discord if you're there, and able to. But yeah, I want to be able to get you to watch these games, man. I think it's important that you're able to watch them. But yeah, I appreciate you all tuning in, and I appreciate you tuning in for the post game coverage. First time work, I'm starting to believe in is Zion. I can't believe I'm saying that. Zion looked amazing in first preseason game too. I mean, yeah, he's clearly lost weight, and I hope, man, if Zion can figure out a way to stay healthy and you know, go back to his Duke level explosivity, like, yeah, it'd be awesome to see. I think Carter should play a more important role. These two games he's been gluing, especially at times when he's looked lost. So let me just be clear. I was wrong about the Javon Carter signing. I thought Carter, when we first signed him, was a great signing. But then I learned that Giannis made him look a lot better than he actually is. But so I think that, like, the way that we can use Carter is how we kind of used him last season, where, like, we used him to play against the Atlanta Hawks. Like, when Trae Young was out there, like, Javon Carter against smaller guards can, like, defend pretty decently. And so, like, when you have a matchup to put him on, I think that, yeah, like, he can kind of come in and, like, be a decent option. The problem is, though, is that when you look at all the other guards in this roster, like, reminder, we were missing two guards tonight in Kobe and Kevin Huerter. And, like, yeah, Carter played a lot tonight, but he didn't check in until pretty much all the starters were done. So, like, he is very far, and he's pretty much probably, like, but he's, like, ahead of Asenge, but, like, you know, at least in my opinion, Asenge should be higher than him in the rotation. So, unfortunately, I do not think playing Carter really benefits us either. Like, he's a vet, he's 30 plus. And so, like, yeah, his three-point shooting can at times be looking nice. He's pretty streaky, though, unfortunately. But I do not think he'll be getting much playing time. If the Bulls are truly really, like, all in on trying to win games this season, which I think they are, then we might see him play against Atlanta or something like that. Like, that's fine. But if other than that, I don't really see a reason to play him, unfortunately. I know he's looked good in preseason. His three-point shot's going down in preseason, and that's, I appreciate it. But I think the others just have more value. That goes from Io to Kobe to Giddey to Trae Jones to Kevin Huerter. They're just, I think they just bring more value just from their size. So it's unfortunate for Carter. I was wrong about him. I thought that he'd be coming in a good signing with the team, but he's unfortunately, his lack of height really kind of messes up his value, which is unfortunate. Vooch is here to help them become professionals. No young team grows without vets. Vooch is not a jerk. I mean, I don't think Vooch is a jerk at all, but I would argue that guys like Zach Collins, guys like Isaac Okoro, and guys like Kevin Huerter are also vets. Like, Javon Carter is also a vet too. Like, I think that without Vucevic, this team still has vets. Like, Zach Collins hasn't been in playoff games. So has Kevin Huerter. He's been in playoff games. But Vucevic is 35, going to be 35 years old this season, and I just don't really see the reason why he needs to be here. I think the Bulls should have traded him last deadline, which it seemed like they had some sort of offer for him that they didn't. They didn't take it for whatever reason. I think the center play will be just fine if Collins is starting and Jalen Smith's coming off the bench. Like, I don't really think there's gonna be any issues with it. So, like, I understand that some people are like, oh, like, we're like young team and like we need vets, but I'm like, let me remind people that this is Kobe White's 7th season. Okay, like, it's not like Kobe White is you know, in his 3rd year. Like, this is gonna be Kobe White's 7th season. Okay, this is gonna be Patrick Williams' 6th season. Okay, like, I understand that some people just like attach the age to them only, but I mean, Kobe White's 25. I personally don't look at Kobe White as like a young guy, that a young prospect or anything. I think he's a very solidified player at this point in the league. Like he's to me like almost at vet status, if not already a vet. Okay. I'm very much aware that we have Montes Buzelis and Noah Sengi on this roster. I get it. But I think this whole talk that like, oh, we're like really young and like we have like a bunch of prospects that have no like we don't know what they're gonna become. Like I would have to disagree with that assessment of like, oh, we need like a bunch of like vets around us, where I'm like, I think Collins and Herter will be plenty fine as vets if we're just gonna keep them around. I think there's a decent enough experience here where I don't think this team is gonna be drowning if in a whole bunch of like, oh, we have like a bunch of 19 or 20-year-olds out there. Like we don't have that. There's a lot of guys in their 25 plus years right now on this team. And I think that that's plenty enough time for them to be in the league, and they don't really need a vet around that is 35 plus playing center that doesn't really play defense. So look, I appreciate what Vooch has done here. I've been heavily critical of him in his time in Bulls uniform, but he's been healthy. He stayed consistently healthy his time in the Bulls uniform. You know, the whole double thing I think is overrated. I can't stand when people say it, but he has consistently put up numbers that are decent enough, and I appreciate his professionalism. I sincerely do appreciate it, but we're not, at least for me, again, this is just if I'm running the front office. I don't think this team needs to win, so we need to develop, and I think we have plenty enough guys that are veteran status without Vucevic on this roster, and I think that's totally fine. So again, this is my opinion at the end of the day. That doesn't mean I'm right. It's just my opinion with how I look at it. Retires Halliburton there with Kidd and Brunson. I mean, Halliburton is like, first and foremost, he has the clutch gene that is just insane. Halliburton's also just as insane of a guy, where you look at his efficiency, it's just like, it's out of this world with how efficient he is. He doesn't score 20 points per game, right? But I know with Halliburton that he could score 20 points per game if he wanted to. He's just that good. So yeah, there's an interesting, let me pull up this chart for you guys about how some people look at how like these players are looked at. Like it's a very interesting chart for MA University, just to kind of take a gauge in all this. So these are guys that are up here in terms of points per game and assists created per game. Okay. You have your MVP all the way over here, and these are your guys that people consider offensive engines, right? So you have like Jokic, obviously. You have Trae Young up here. You have Kate Cunningham, which I think people are still underrating this guy for how good he is. I mean, here's Doncic, here's Giannis, here's Tatum, here's Brunson, right? Like, you have these guys that are consistently over here in this category that they put up the points per game, as well as a lot of them like Jokic, like Trae Young. These guys also really do a good job of having a bunch of points created for others throughout the game. Okay, like their assist numbers are pretty decently high. And there's down here, which is more just like the scorer only category, right? Where you have like the Durants, like the Levines, the Kyrie Irvings. Okay, Steph's a little bit in between, right? Like I think Steph is like point guard-ish, but we know that he's just more of the best shooter of all time, right? So like your secondary creators in a sense is kind of probably where we're looking at. You know, Anthony Edwards is another example, but like there's arguments for a lot of these guys down here that like in Edwards, in Durant, in Banchero, if Zion was just healthy, okay, and Embiid, if he's also just healthy, these are also guys that you can run your offense through. Like these are your offensive engines up here, but then these self creators are guys that kind of lead a team, okay. Over here though is kind of like this category of like, it's very clearly secondary creators. It's the Desmond Bains, it's Jamal Murray's, okay, it's the Brandon Ingrams, it's, you know, DeRozan, Jaylen Brown's over here, Kobe White's also listed here, okay, Levine's kind of in between, right? And then you have your floor generals, right? These are guys that mostly get more like their value is assists, right? But you see Halliburton, and he's like very clearly by far in the best in like the floor general area, where he's, you know, creating a bunch of assists per game, but he also scores at a decent chunk. And like here's also Harden, but Halliburton's the better passer. But then here's Giddey. It's like he's like at this end of the chart, and I'm like, okay, so you're looking at towards floor general, right? But even Harden is not even like your main guy, right? Harden is like secondary to Kawhi here, and he's getting older, right? Halliburton's obviously Halliburton. I still I've been adamant that I think Halliburton can easily go over to this side if he wanted to. We won't see it this year, but I mean, this guy has proven to everybody that he can go out and shoot it at any given point, right? Giddey has to just increase the points. It's a matter of fact. I think he's a great passer, but it's just what we look at, right? And so if he can't find a way to increase his points per game, then I'm thinking he has to be more of a Draymond Green role on offense, which it has value, but it's not what people are saying as the point guard of the future or the ball handler of the future, right? So that's it. It's just the way I look at it. I might be right, I might be wrong. But that's just the way I look at the game. All right, we're gonna move on though. I want to officially move on from this conversation because I feel like I'm repeating myself from last season, but it is what it is. And once again, I want Giddey to succeed. I want him to prove me wrong, but we gotta see better results. That's just all I have to say. And it has to be consistent. It can't be just 1 month or 2 months. Okay, I understand that he was on a new team last season and he's trying to fit in and everything, but it cannot be like a repeater from last season where it's he's struggling early on, he can't find a way to score early on, and then he'll turn up in March. That's not what we can't just do that. It's these guys are where they're at because they're consistent throughout the entire year. And so look, I want him to succeed. I want him to prove me wrong. I'm hoping he does, because if he does, then the Bulls have a much brighter future, at least in my opinion. But until then, I feel like we're still stuck in purgatory land for a long time here. But all right, let's move on here. I want to bring up some stuff from the game, and we'll talk about that in a second here. Let me catch up in chat. God, my recording looks so ass, bro. It's already just a mess up. Brunson makes 35 million. Yeah, and I believe he deserves it. Even if anything, Brunson is underpaid. I'll go into that. Yes, I hate the ISO. Also, ISO's below average, fishy for scoring. There's that breakdown table by team as well for it. But when you have guys like a SGA and a Luka and many others that are insane ISO scorers, that's why they're where they are, right? This is why these guys are paid like this. They have such on-ball gravity that in an ISO situation, it puts so much pressure on the defense that they're forced to have to come over and rotate and collapse onto them. That's why the ISO is still so effective in today's spacing. Okay, I understand a lot of Bulls fans hate it. I get it, but there's a difference between what I think DeRozan is going to do in an ISO versus what I think that a Cade Cunningham or an SGA or Luka can do. And those guys very clearly are some of the best ISO scorers I've ever seen. So it is what it is. ISO scores it's a necessary component for a lot of guys, including Halliburton, because a lot of his game-winning shots are ISOs, to be that sort of guy in this league. Again, just how I look at it. Cunningham's making 47 million, and I think he deserves it. Yeah, 25 million is not being paid to be them, right? So the problem is that he wanted 30 million, right, which is 8 million off of his max. So he wanted basically 8 million off of his max. So he wanted it to be paid in the Jalen Suggs tier, right, or the Emmanuel Quickley tier. Okay, and these are guys that have been paid to be your starting point guard in the future, right? These are guys that have the ball in their hands. Now Quickley is not going on and be that successful, but Suggs obviously is a defensive, all defensive type of guy. But that's what Giddey was supposed to be. He is supposed to be a main ball handler and your starting point guard of the future. And a lot of Bulls fans think he's going to be an all-star. Okay, well, let me see it then, right? Anyway, so there was a conversation about money. For Giddey, it was, but that's all said and done. But the conversation is more so just about hey, can you go out and create your own shot, right? That's more of the conversation of what we're talking about. So Giddey advances defense threes and is driving a bit this season, gets 17, 18 points per night and a near trip double. Then next season, another small step in scoring. I mean, yeah, it has to just go up. That's all I really care about, honestly. Giddey 18, 10, and 8. I mean, this is nice, right? Efficiency would matter if he's putting up these numbers, but yeah, these are nice. It would be nice for this season, but again, I want him at 20 then the following year. I don't know if I trust Giddy to get good at pick and rolls with how he seems to match up, and then with centers, unless they try to shift to his screening and the end matchups from norms. It would have to, yeah, it would have to be a difference in like how the defense would guard him, which then, I mean, the pick and roll is so heavily used in today's game that it'd be hard then to get value out of it from him. But this is the reason why I wish he had a pull up, because it would make a lot more of a difference if he just had a pull up jumper. But you know, oh yeah, but Discord at some point, yeah. Hit me up on Discord, Taro. Like I want to help you out, because I mean, first and foremost, I understand that Chicago Sports Network sucks and people are gonna be willing to pay $20 a month for it, and they took away the antenna option, which is ridiculous. So hit me up on Discord after the stream, and I might have to respond to you tomorrow, but I'll help you out. Bulls play again on Sunday, so we have some time to help you out. Previous place used to watch games doesn't exist anymore. Huge bummer. Oh, Stream East. Yeah, that I know that's shut down, but I have things. I'll just say that. I have things, you know. Even I mentioned any thoughts on Asenge through 2 games. So first game, I really liked what I saw in the first game. His, you know, offensive rebounding was great. You could just kind of tell he's moving well in the space of the floor. He understands where to go. I liked what I saw in the first game. Tonight definitely wasn't as good. He was missing the 3-point shots, but he still is just like, his length is just such a problem for any team that like they're just forced to follow him. So he got 4 free throws tonight, which I liked. He didn't, I think he only had 1 rebound tonight, and it was defensive, but like I still like that he was fighting for offensive rebounds. He had a moment where he was pushing tempo with the basketball, and unfortunately he got an offensive foul out of it, but like I appreciate that. Like he's showing that like he can take the ball and taking himself down the floor in the fast break opportunity and potentially be a threat to go up and score, right? So yeah, I'm really, I like so far what I've seen from Asenge. There's a lot obviously needs to be kind of rounded out and kind of tuned up and polished, and you know, we gotta do a lot of work with him. But the things that you can't teach with him, right? You can't teach his length, you can't teach his athleticism, right? And I honestly don't think that with the way that he draws fouls is something you could teach either. Like the defense is just gonna have to foul him a lot just due to his length and athleticism. So that's stuff that I truly do appreciate from him. And I think that especially for a young guy at his age, like he's 18, that it's hard to teach like his understanding of spacing throughout the game that he already kind of has. Like even when he didn't, like there was many times when he was playing tonight where he would back cut but he didn't get the ball, but it was like the right time to back cut from him. Stuff that Patrick Williams would never do. So I like what I see a lot. I am very much aware that he's a project, and I think that's totally fine. Like we didn't need to draft a guy that needed to help this season, like I at least in my opinion. So having him come on in and you know get some G League minutes, and then hopefully as the season goes on get some regular season minutes would be good for him in his development. I think defensively he's already looked pretty solid, honestly. So it's early days, but I like what I've seen. So I'm pleased with him so far. I know some people are gonna be disappointed in him, but I like what I see. I think that he's done well in his first NBA minutes. Again, he's 18. Like he's not 20, he's not 21, he's 18. Yeah, always got to keep that in mind. One a guy, it's fine. I would want more like Patty Mills, cheap contract type than Vooch. There's also that aspect of the Vooch deal, but yeah, not that one just for that. Yeah, he almost a bet. Yeah, yeah. You feel like that too early? IO seems to be the biggest riser in stock from preseason games combined, pushing for his minutes more. I mean, honestly though, I feel like the IO is going to be trusted no matter what. So I don't know if you can say like his stock has risen. He's looked really good, at least in my opinion. I do think the second quarter wasn't good from him overall, but I mean everyone was struggling that quarter. And he had some shots that were just like late shot clock, like he got the missed shot, but I'm just like, I don't know what you're gonna do with it, honestly. But yeah, I think he's done really good. Like the biggest thing for me is just that he hasn't played in a while, right? And so he's coming back from shoulder surgery and he's looked this good. Like, I appreciate that from him. Like, that's a good sign. So, I don't know if it's like if it's like stock has risen, because I do think that he was always at the top of Billy's rotation in terms of, you know, after the starters. Like, he was always gonna be like 6th or 7th man. But yeah, overall though, I'm happy with what I see. I also don't want to run through a KD or Anna Zion though. They all seem significantly more successful in teams with proper passing playmakers like Green. Right, but like you're not gonna win though if Draymond Green is your main ball handler though. Like, and at the end of the day, Steph Curry was the one that is the offense for Golden State. Like, the entire offense for Golden State is Curry. It's not Draymond Green. It's Curry. The only reason why Draymond Green gets a lot of those assists is because it's Curry. A lot of it is all Curry based. But I mean, I kind of understand what you're saying a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're still, those guys get the ball the most, right? Like, Draymond Green is not going to be that effective if he's going to be playing next to guys that can only score 15 a night. And so you still need those guys. They're the reason why they're successful at the end of the day. And like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think the offense would have been like still pretty good if you take Draymond Green out of the offense and you still have Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Like, I think that the offense still would be pretty good. The entire offensive identity is still Steph Curry with how they run things. Our Rockets do what they're doing to do a bit of Alfie to KD type offense. We need that like clock bucket is just where it's KD. I still think you need KD to get his shots though. Like, he needs to get his ISO opportunities. Like, he's Hall of Famer. With getting go, you have the major consistency issue. Kobe within the game has the issue, but I also added forth this hope Giddey improves Kobe to this season. I mean, they both really have the consistency problems. 3-point shooting is the biggest one. I mean, we saw from Kobe, like, he'll be on fire for a month and then the shooting just goes away for a month. Giddey shot under 30% in I think multiple months last season, or maybe it was just one, but then we saw him shoot like above 50% for a good stretch. So 3-point shooting is a big one. That changes the way the defense plays you, so that's huge. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. But then consistently willing to drive, I think, is the other portion of their game. I appreciate it's not the ISO itself rather than the threat of to draw half an extra person. Right, but the way that you get the most out of it is from the ISO, right? The reason why the ISO is so damn good now is because you have 4 guys spacing the floor and able to shoot the 3-ball, right? So if you spread the floor and you have to bring another defender over, it spreads the defense out so thin that you're playing 4-on-3 and your defense is very spread. It's tough. It's a tough decision for the defense, right? That's why it's so good. But the reason why it's all combination, it's why it's so good, is because you have a guy that has the on-ball gravity like an SGA, right? Like, great spacing doesn't really matter too much if you don't have those sort of on-ball gravity guys, right? Or in Curry's case, even his off-ball gravity, right? Like, those are the guys that make the defense, like, why you see the spacing is helpful and why you see the value of it. It's what, like, good spacing, you always want to have it, but to take advantage of it, you got to have those guys, right? Well, I'm not yet concerned about micro. I feel last season, this time early on, they had a set of faster paces than now. I do feel keeping the pace is still a key. So the offense so far in preseason has been very odd, I'll say. Like, there's definitely some good, but then there's definitely some moments of bad. And you're right. Like, there's been some possessions where I'm like, the shot clock's already at like 8, and I feel like we got nowhere, right? And there's some of those moments for sure. I even think that there's even some moments when I feel like there's a transition opportunity so far, and we stop, and it's on everybody. Like, it's not just the guards. Like, I feel like that some of the bigs aren't running. Some of the guys aren't going where they're supposed to be. We are missing our best transition scorer. Maybe that's part of it, right? The guy that led the league in transition points last season. But I do think that is something I am noticing. We'll talk about it here a little bit. Last thing, was confident on the floor and with the ball. Bull Scouts might give me confidence test after drafting Pat. Yeah, I'm still not sold with the Bull Scouts at any point here. Like, the Pat one is obviously the big hit. Io was, I think, a good overall second round pick. Dalen Terry was not, I mean, so far hasn't been good. Julian Phillips I liked, but I mean, I'm even as a guy that really likes Julian Phillips, I'm starting to lose some hope from him. But again, second rounder, it's not the biggest deal in the world. But you did trade 2 second rounders for him. Uzelis, like, I honestly think he kind of just fell to us, which thank God he did. But like, it was, I almost kind of would have been shocked if at any point if he did fall to us, if the Bulls did pass up on him just because he's from Chicago, or Chicago area. So yeah, I don't really know how to feel about it, honestly, which still I'll give them their props. And then if the Ascension one does hit, then it will definitely make me feel better. But I'm still not feeling the best about them. Marko Simonovic, I'm not like the biggest critic of the Marko pick, honestly, but it is what it is. All right, let's actually get into some film here. I want to show a couple things. Show you guys some of the stuff that I've been noticing throughout the preseason. Talk about some of the plays run. If you want, I'm not going to show the Chicago Sports Network BS that happened today. But basically what I will show you is this, okay? So as you can see here, hey, we're in commercial, still in commercial, and we're still in commercial, right? This is still commercial break, still commercial, and still in commercial. And if you haven't figured out what I'm about to say here, the Bulls are playing at this current moment in time, because this is the first thing I see. The first thing I see for this game is that, hey, the clock's at 11:47. I don't know what the hell Chicago Sports Network was doing tonight. It drives me insane, but this is what we got tonight. So I don't know what the first play was tonight. I mean, that's serious. I don't know what the Cavs ran. So yeah, this was just dreadful. What it is. So at the end of the day, so we've seen some of these like sort of possessions, like drag screen early, hope to get Giddey downhill, get some paint penetration, and then if he can go out and finish, great. If he can't, pass it out, look for a 3-point shot, spread the ball around after that, and hopefully we can get some good early looks that we can take early in the shot clock. But that was the first play of the game, so I just wanted to point out like the like half court almost drag screen from the Bulls to get Giddey downhill into an action. Ideally I think Giddey is able to find a way to score there, but good pass out. I did want to show a couple of things that I was happy to see here. That's not it. Sorry, trying to find the Trey Jones find here, which, oh god, so annoyed. I'm so annoyed by Chicago Sports Network. It pisses me off. Okay, so this is the first bucket of the game for the Bulls. So I want to point out just like why this 5-out offense is so successful in a sense. Okay, so first action, Giddey brings it up, we throw it to the center. Now you're gonna be seeing the center consistently here, like we've seen Vucevic here all the time, right? The center in a 5-out offense is usually at the top of the key. Reason being is that the center, the shot blocker has to be up near the top of the key. If you put him in the corner, like it is an option, but then it allows Jarrett Allen to kind of play here if the center doesn't have the ball, right? And so you want to try to draw the shot blocker out of the paint as much as you can. Hence why Zach Collins is up here. Okay, so I'm a little bit late to this, but basically Okoro started here. This is what we call the slot. If the ball's on this side, this is called the 45 cut here. But basically Okoro decides to do a cut to the basket, okay? But there's a lot of things that Okoro could have done in this one singular possession, right? Okoro decided to cut here. He could have came up and gotten the ball from Zach Collins. He could have went over and set a pin down here for Trey Jones to come off of, which is what we call zoom action, okay? But there's all sorts of things that we could have done on this possession. Like, Okoro could have decided to cut, but then come back over here, set a back screen for Trey Jones to cut to the basket, okay? And then Okoro could have came up here and gotten the ball from Zach Collins, right? There's all these different actions that you can do in a 5-out offense, okay? And these are these things I just want to point out as we go throughout the year of why the Bulls are running this. And so instead, we see Okoro decides to cut, and you're going to see here that Collins is going to try to do a handoff to Trey Jones immediately. Now, he decides to hang on to it, as obviously Mitchell is right on Trey Jones, okay, which is the correct decision. But Trey Jones kind of uses Zach Collins this time as a screener, even though he has the ball in his hands, to go cut to the basket, and you're going to find that Trey Jones is going to be able to find him. Or sorry, that Zach Collins is going to be able to find Trey Jones on the cut, okay? But in just this one instance, let me tell you what Trey Jones could have done, okay? Trey Jones could have decided not to have cut back to the basket, but instead decide to come back up here and try to get the ball from a little pass back from Zach Collins, and then you run the pick and roll. Trey Jones could have decided to run over here and set a little screen for Giddey to come on over on the cross, okay, and set him up for an action, right? And then after Trey Jones sets this screen, he could have decided to cut to the rim off of that. What the Bulls also could have done here is that you could have decided to bring Josh Giddey and Trey Jones over for a stagger screen action and bring Matas Buzelis to the basketball, okay? Like, these are all different options throughout the 5-out offense that you can run at any given moment, right? Which is why the defense has to be always on their toes. This is why the 5-out offense is now becoming so popular, is because there's all these different things the defense has to take into account. It's a lot of reacting from the defense because they don't exactly know what's going to be coming. And for instance, in this case, like, Donovan Mitchell was by no means ready for a Trey Jones cut to the rim here. Okay, as you can see that he gets completely caught off guard, because it looked like, honestly, that Trey Jones might have just came over and set a screen for Giddey to come on over, and he didn't do that, right? Hence, then you have good job there by Zach Collins and Trey Jones to get the first bucket of the game, which is a good sign from the Bulls here. Well, let me go to another play here. I want to talk about a new action that I wasn't able to talk about in the previous stream. Which we were able to talk about a lot of things in the previous stream, but not everything. God, there's a lot that I missed. I'm really annoyed, just due to the feed freezing. It pisses me off a lot. All right. One thing I wanna show you this play. This is a Giddey miss from 3-point range, but I want to give him a lot of credit for this exact action that I think is something the Bulls need to start taking advantage of. This is something that was kind of set by Memphis last season, okay? It's kind of an action that is starting to become a little bit more popular in today's game, which is, it's really weird to watch it. But it, especially in a 5-out offense, it does really do a good job of how it's like, of understanding when to up tempo immediately by the Bulls. We're going to be pushing this down court, okay? Now, pay attention to Giddey, okay? So Giddey does not have the ball on this transition opportunity. Trey Jones does. He pushes it up to Dalen Terry, okay? Now, it's going to go back to Trey Jones on this right here, okay? So, when Trey Jones decides to drive, okay, watch what Giddey does, okay? Lonzo Ball, notoriously good, as we all know from his time with the Bulls. He's a great defender. Really good off ball. Understands when to take his risks off ball. When Trey Jones drives, you're going to be paying attention to what Giddey does. And basically, when Trey Jones decides that he's going to drive with his left hand to the rim, you're going to see that Giddey's also going to go left, okay? If you watched Memphis last season, okay, Memphis did a ridiculously annoying thing, which is whenever someone decided to drive, okay, you would see everyone kind of rotate the same way. It was really odd. But let's say, for example, like, last season, someone at the top of the key decided to drive right, okay, and then you would see that the player in the slot would also move right. The player in the corner would then decide to go this way, okay, and then you would see everyone just kind of move over one. It was just this really weird thing that started to just kind of catch on, but it's effective because it makes sure that the guy that can come over and tag and help is more separated from the guy that they are actually guarding, and when versus where the drive is actually happening, right? And so it prevents them from easily just being able to reach in and like find a way to get the a swipe at the basketball. And so you see here, Trey Jones drives left, Josh Giddey moves left, right? That's good. This is really good spacing of protocols from the Bulls here. Ideally, in a I would like to see the Bulls, if there's ever a way they could figure this out, it would be very nice also to see if we could find a way to do this where, like, Patrick Williams also goes left, Jalen Smith goes this way, and Dalen Terry then moves up here. So, like, we're rotating, I guess in this case it'd be clockwise, okay, across the floor, because it just helps the spacing a lot. The reason why this is important is, as you can see here, Giddey gets the ball and he's wide open, right? Like, this spacing move helps Giddey get open, and I know it sounds like obvious, but it is something that has been just kind of taken like taking, you know, a lot of people are starting to use it across the league. And so Giddey gets a pretty open look here and he misses it, which is fine. But it's good ideas from the Bulls. It's good spacing ideas from the Bulls. Continue to do stuff like this. I like to see this sort of stuff. Making sure that we take advantage of the spacing that we can look to create, right? Spacing is not just obviously one 3-point shooter. It's everyone making sure they move all in sync, if they can, and find ways to fill in the gaps across the floor. So good job there by the Bulls. I want to show. Actually, let me look at my notes. I wrote down a couple of plays here. Oh, let me show you Buzelis's I want to show you Buzelis's play here that even though he missed, I was really impressed by him. So we saw last game that and I like I said earlier, I don't think Buzelis had as a lot of a game this game, but we did see last game that Buzelis was doing a lot of stuff against Evan Mobley, which was really impressive because Buzelis doing this in his now soon to be sophomore season against the defensive player of the year is really impressive. So Buzelis only had 7 shots in this one. He had 2 threes, 3 for 7 from the field. So overall, it was an all right game from him. He only got 2 rebounds, which is a little bit disappointing. But he had a steal in the block, really good block by him. But the thing that I was looking at for this game was hey, we saw some good moves against Evan Mobley in the previous game. Can you go out and do replicable moves that we saw? And still find ways that, even though Mobley kind of knows your game a little bit right now, can you still find a way to create some open looks against him? And even though that this was a miss, I was just wow, bro, this is something that I'm gonna be looking at from him moving forward. So let's watch. Okay. Let's see here. Oh god, I forget every time I move screens with the recording, it gets all buggy. Sorry about this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, I just want to point out what the Bulls action is. So this time we actually do have Jalen Smith on the side of the floor. Okay, so the center is actually in the corner. You're not gonna see this too often, but it does happen every now and then from the Bulls. This action here, what we call this from Ayo and Okoro, okay, we call this single away. Okay, the reason why we call this single away is because you're going to be seeing one singular screen being set here by Ayo, and he's facing away from where the basketball is. Okay, so the screener is facing away from the ball, and this allows Okoro to come up here off the screen. Okay, it's not a pin down, right? Pin downs, we specifically see pin downs they're facing towards the baseline this way, but this is what we call single away. What this does though is that this heavily occupies these 2 defenders because they have to make sure that they stay on their man or they switch it, right? But at the same time, Ayo doesn't need to set the screen, right? Ayo could fake it and then cut to the basket, or you could see that Okoro decides to reject the screen and then just go to the basket, right? And then even after maybe Ayo comes over and sets the screen for Okoro, right? Then Okoro can come over and set a screen for Buzelis if he wants to. Once again, I'm just pointing out to you all the options that you have in a 5-out offense where the spacing is proper. Guys are moving along. This is what we want to see from the Bulls. And so you see the little single away action, which Ayo does a little brush screen. Could see a better screen definitely though from Ayo. I think this could have been better. And so it actually looks like they're about to go into a second action here. I did not catch this. It looks like they're about to do another single away action, funnily enough. But the whole point of this possession, though, is just to watch what Buzelis does, right? This is against Evan Mobley, again, defensive player of the year. And he's able to still create separation, and it's, a little bit thanks to all this going on, right? Because just this action alone keeps these defenders occupied, right? So none of these guys can come over and help on a Buzelis drive, and he decides to drive left, so there's a single away action. And he gets a tiny bit of a step. Oops, sorry, I just hit the cord really badly. He does a little bit. He gets a little bit of a step with his left on Evan Mobley, and he's able to do a little step back and create separation and get a 3-point shot off. Okay, this is a stop on a dime and a step back, and he's created this much space between him and Mobley. that's to me again. Like, this is impressive stuff from the guy, who is going to be in his sophomore season. He talked about working on his ball handling. He talked about working off, shooting off the dribble. Like, we're seeing it in real time here from Buzelis. And he's able to create enough separation over and get the shot off over Mobley. And yeah, he misses it, but this is still, to me, just, I'm like, wow, like, that's a hell of an impressive way to create separation against an incredible defensive player. Yeah, even though this was a quieter game from Buzelis, and, you know, he wasn't able to kind of go out and show, like, you know, pick and roll actions tonight, which is a little bit disappointing for me. Like, I want to see Buzelis in, you know, pick and roll ball handling situations more. But to see him go out and do stuff like this, man, is like, it's just so refreshing just to see. It's like, it's seeing a guy that I'm like, hey, you have incredible size. Your ball handling, for especially at his age, just, it seems to just continue to get better. I'm like, hey, if you're able to find a way to then suddenly, like, get opportunities where you're creating separation versus great defenders, one-on-one opportunities, man, this is the signs of, like, hey, he can be special. I'm not there yet. Like, I'm still not putting many expectations on Buzelis this upcoming season. I'm gonna temper my expectations for this year, because I think sophomore season can be tough. Sophomore slumps happen, but I'm really looking forward to seeing if he can find ways to consistently show you the ability to create one-on-one opportunities for himself. If he's able to do that, especially against a guy like Mobley, like, oh my god, I want him to find ways to, like, we need to find ways to give him the ball as often as possible. Let him work through the mistakes. Let him figure it out. You know, the defense is gonna be throwing different coverages at him. Let him figure it out. Because then this is then potentially the guy that can be, you know, your top scorer, your guy that you can rely on to score in any sort of situation. Like, this could potentially be the guy. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to say that. I'm pushing back my excitement about that, but he has shown through 2 games some very impressive on-ball skill that I was not expecting to see in year 2. Maybe year 3 was expecting to see more of this, but year 2, man, and we're seeing this already, it just gets me more excited for what's to come from him. So shout out to Buzelis for what he's worked on. Once again, though, I just wanted to point out just kind of how the Bulls offense is kind of operating, certain actions and what they're running. We're seeing a little bit more kind of off-ball movement this so far in preseason, which is good. There's still more to do, but we're seeing some decent 5-out offense from the Bulls, and it allows for maybe even a guy like Buzelis to get some kind of ISO looks that he might be able to knock down, which we saw, you know, a little bit of that in the game 1 here. So, let's see here. I also wrote. I think I wrote down a couple other things I wanted to for you guys. Oh yeah. Let's see if I actually did keep it here. No, it's bugged. So if you're wondering what Chicago Sports Network was doing, this is what it was doing to me today. I don't know what the hell happened here, but they like changed the feed and it paused my video, and I was really annoyed. So I do apologize about this. Eventually you'll see me go and refresh it. But let's go to the start of the 3rd quarter. I think there's some good stuff at the start of the 3rd quarter for the Bulls. Let's go ahead and point this out. Showing like, hey, he can like just pop the 3-point shot, right? Which is like why I'm hoping he can like become a threat in these sort of spots. But right now he has Mitchell. Like, this is a mismatch, right? What the Bulls could have definitely have done, I think, in my opinion, is if Collins either decides that he's just going to try to cut to the basket quickly here, or the other option, which I think would be the better one, is just kind of come over and set this little away action to just try to get these defenders out of here, to not allow someone like Mobley just to kind of come over and tag on this, kind of come over and like, you know, do like a little bit of a swipe or something like that. So like, because ideally, at least in my opinion, like especially at this moment in time, like I want Mobley to try to get this guy out of here so that Buzelis can get this matchup 1-on-1. But if Collins comes in over and like tries to like set this like little like away action, it could help Buzelis just get the space he needs to get to the basket here. They don't do that though, so good cut by, this is what we call 45 cut, right? This is 45 cut. And so we see that counts just to feed it to him. I think, what happens here? Okay, yeah. And so we reset, back screen here. I think we see Buzelis now cut. I don't fully remember though. Yeah, he does. Okay, good. And so we throw it back out, almost flare action, but I'll just call it a back action, like back screen, by Collins, and Buzelis cuts, which is the proper decision. Unfortunately, the pass does not get there. So once again, though, you see how fast, and this is, I want to point this out too. You see how fast the Bulls can like flip, where it's like, all right, transition opportunity, we got it, we go to our spots, nothing happened. Okay, let's move, right? This is what 5-out offense does. This is why we call it like sometimes hurry up offense. So one-on-one opportunity, it's not there. All right, here comes 45 cut from Isaac Okoro, and we're gonna reset, right? There's some good signs, obviously. Now I could go to the second quarter and show you all these terrible signs that we could talk about, where there's just not much movement, and I want to talk about the lineup that I wasn't really pleased with, that I talked about earlier. But you just see how fast that we can figure out ways in the half court to like kind of like after a transition opportunity, like move, all right, next thing, right? Even though this didn't result in a bucket, like it's still good from the Bulls. It's still good. It's still just good job of looking for opportunities to find quick offensive shots here, or potentially the paint touches like right off the bat. But yeah, good showing there. I appreciate what the Bulls, for the most part, are kind of doing here. Once again, there's definitely some things we can look at. Yeah. All right. So this play. So next half court set for the Bulls here, and this is a Trey Jones 3-point look. So I don't know. I'm actually interested to kind of figure out what we exactly are going to call for it to be a lot of things here. Let's just watch it. So to me, at least for me, I'm going to call this horns. So you see, the reason why it's called horns is because you have two guys near the elbow, two guys in the corner. Okay. You see Zach Collins here is trying to get into the high post or pinch post, try to get his man sealed here. This is where, once again, spacing always matters. Trey Jones is incredible at finding these little opportunities like this. Incredible pass by Giddey. This is exactly where Giddey's value is, right? And he's able to find Trey Jones on a cut, right, to the basket. So this sort of action, obviously, we saw that Tomlin decided to gamble and played over on Trey Jones. Trey Jones decides to cut, so that's the exact counter to that defensive coverage. And so that forces then Mitchell obviously to come over and help. You throw it out to Isaac Okoro if you're Trey Jones, right? And we see that Tomlin does exactly the right thing, and he comes off of Trey Jones and decides to go to Okoro to recover. Okoro then decides to drive it, but Mitchell decides to fall down and didn't get the call. So good, what we call repositioning from Trey Jones here, of going from the 3-point line back out to the from the paint back out to the 3-point line, which is what Steph Curry does constantly. And we see that Trey Jones is able to get not just the only, like, we see like the 5-out center at top, and we always run through that. There's always that, like, there's always that option, right? But it's not like we have other things as well from the Bulls. Like, I'm personally just gonna call that horns. There's probably an argument for it to be called something else, but I think that is a horn set from the Bulls, and it's a nice horn set. They do a good job with it, and especially with Giddey in that sort of position where you can find like a cutter. With that set, I think it's a good job by the Bulls overall. I personally now want to go and show you a play for a Senge if I can find it. It's mostly just to show you, like, hey, there's another set within the 5-out offense that I think we're gonna be seeing a lot, like pretty prominently. I hope to see more of it. All right, going back, sorry. I don't remember if saying a foul in this possession. I'm trying to see if I can find it on .com. What? Oh, so this is not the play that I was looking for, but this is something that I do want to just kind of point out. From what I see from Asenge's, at least this is where I see his value. Okay, so this is off a miss, running the floor, right? He's running, and like I know he doesn't always look like he's running hard, but he's moving. Like he does a good job of getting down the floor. So let's watch this play. Okay, so immediately we're just gonna try to see the Bulls try to find a quick bucket, right? Terry doesn't see a driving lane. We throw it to I. Okay, he sets a screen. So this is drag screen from Dale and Terry. See if we can try to find anything off of this. We can't. The Cavs decide to switch it. Okay, so as this happened though, you see Terry set the screen, right? He got the switch. Now he's gonna move this way. As this is happening though, you see Asenge was here. He's moving up. Okay, because he knows Terry's gonna go and fill where he is, right? So that's just, again, it just, to me, it's just good job by Asenge just constantly moving, because like if Asenge is stuck here and then Terry's also like trying to move over here, the spacing's screwed, right? But Asenge did a good job. He moved up. You see Ayo tries to drive, and you're kind of seeing kind of what I wanted, where like guys are kind of moving the same way as the driver. But nothing's there. We throw it back out, right? So reset. Now Asenge gets the ball back, but then we're gonna throw. This is what we call flip and drag. Okay. And so it's a little handoff, and then drag screen from Asenge, and we're gonna see here it gets an open 3-point shot for Javon Carter because they decide to switch it, but Larry Nance is way too far off, right? Good screen from Asenge, by the way. So it just, like, there's these little signs. I'm like, hey, we're still playing the proper way. We're still playing fast. We're still looking for 3-point looks, and we're still looking for transition opportunities. There's some good signs especially from some of the young guys. I haven't really shown you any of the turnovers though, which I guess I need to get to, but there's some good stuff. I want to show you the stagger action from Asenge, and then we can move on to maybe a turnover play that was really annoying for me. See if I can find anything. I thought it was fourth quarter, but maybe I'm just tripping. I apologize. I wish I had this written down. I didn't write it down at the time, and I need to write stuff down more. Okay. I'll move out from the Asenge stagger, but let me show you this play. Okay. This is cool. I like this a lot. This is a cool play that I remember seeing this in, because I got fouled. I was like, oh, this is a nice play by the Bulls. They did a good job with this one. Okay. Let's watch this. If it would load, for God's sake. Cool. This is definitely a new play in the book by the Bulls, and this is something I did not see very often last season, and it's really good. This is a really solid overall idea from Billy Donovan and co. I like this a lot. So what we saw sometimes last season was that we saw like these guys here would come up and like they'd say like a double screen, right? Because setting a double screen with one's a guard, okay, and one's a big, so this is we call it double drag, okay. What this does though is that it really you're gonna see the initial screener usually flares or like pops out. So Carter would, if he would set the screen here, he would pop out to the 3-point line, and then the second guy, and this would be Jalen Smith, he would roll. Okay, so this is setting up to look like, hey, it's going to be double drag, is what we call it. So Ayo would get a screen from both Javon Carter and Jalen Smith here and go this way, okay, and it'd be double drag. So instead though, we do not do that, and it's a completely different play here, and you're going to see that Jalen Smith's going to come over here and set a flare screen for Javon Carter, okay. Like, this is just a quick switch up that it throws the defense, because again, the defense in this 5-out, like, they have to react. They have to see what, like, it's hard to predict what's coming because they're set up for something completely different, and all of a sudden it's a change, right? So you see Carter is gonna not do that, and now he got his man. He got the step on his man. Flare screen by Jalen Smith. Okay, this is a flare screen, and so Javon Carter's gonna go this way, which is really cool. I love this. It's a little switch, okay? And so the Cavs, as you can see here, they got all discombobulated from this play. They're like, wait, where do we go? Did we switch this? Did we not? This pass could have been here for sure. Like, this is definitely maybe a pass that Io missed. But after Jalen Smith sets that little flare screen for Javon Carter to come off of, you have Jalen Smith come up and then set a pick and roll for Io to Sumu. Okay, now pay attention, right? Watch what happens, right, when Io drives. This is what I want to see. This is a big key component for me, okay? Io, right, he got the screen. He's driving right down the lane, okay? If driver goes right and if the guy with the ball drives right, then everyone goes right, okay? Dalen Terry, you see he was in the corner. Well, he now moves. He moves right. He goes right one spot, which means he has to go to the other corner, okay? Javon Carter, as he sees with Io, he goes. Javon Carter recognizes, well, I got to move one to the right, and he goes then to the corner, okay? This is spacing. This is the new thing with the NBA now in the spacing, okay? And you see here what it does is that it completely forces the defense to have to just make a decision. And Io had to step on Larry Nance, and so if no one came over just to follow him, then Io gets a layup out of this, right? But you see how much this little action did for Javon Carter? Like, he was here, right? Because his defender and Porter thinks, oh, I can just stay right here, and he's here, right? But Dalen Terry, as he saw Io drive, right, Dalen Terry cleared out of this corner, and Javon Carter then decided to also go right one spot. And, you know, if Io wasn't fouled, then this is potentially an open three-point look for Javon Carter, okay? Little things, right? It's these little things that I'm like, these are really cool things by the Bulls that they could do, and hopefully just without turning it over, for God's sake. All right, let's do it. Let's do a turnover play. And let me just look at it and just try to see what I was. There's just so much going on that was just bad. There's definitely one that was from a Collins turnover that I think I want to talk about. It's not his fault. It's just what's going on with the plays that are not the best overall. Indecisiveness, and we got to just be better. How are you feeling though in chat? Are we bored with this? Are we enjoying this sort of stuff? Like, how are we feeling overall when it comes to like just some of these play breakdowns? Because I do this a lot. Like, I like doing this a lot early because like there's definitely things that the Bulls are kind of doing a little bit differently within their offense from early on. But I also, the reason why I'm heavily focusing on this now is because I really did take the time to like look at the Bulls offense last season and like really try to figure out the plays and understand what the exact motions are and understand the play calling and understand the proper terminology. So I'm really looking to show this a lot more this year because I don't know if you guys saw if you were following the NBA Finals at all and you're on Twitter. One of the people for the Indiana Pacers is Caitlin Cooper, and she does a phenomenal job of breaking down the Pacers plays and talking about like certain actions that they run consistently, what the play calls are, and like that sort of stuff I always think resonates with me. Seeing the game from like their perspective and like they just see the plays. I've also like when I watch games, like this is what I'm always looking at. Like I don't always look at the ball. I'm looking at what other people are doing constantly. So yeah, these sort of things I always like to point out if it's cool though for the audience. I know some people look at this as just like this is boring. Just like how when I talk about the salary cap, it's also boring. But for me, as a basketball nerd, this is stuff that I love. So yeah, let me know. I want the feedback. Sorry, I'm trying to watch a play here that I wasn't happy with. Let's see. All right, hold on. No, that's not it. I have to go first quarter, honestly. Hopefully I have it. I don't know if it... So if you didn't know, I have the recording up here. This is my bedroom. But then I usually watch the game downstairs, but then I knew that because the game downstairs was bugging. So I knew that up here was bugging, so I had to run up here, and it's just like, God, I missed so much time for the recording, which sucks. I unfortunately do not have part of the first quarter, which is really annoying. I do apologize. I'm so sorry, I cannot find this play. Where is it? Oh, was it this one?
And Mobley back there, you know, they cover up for a lot of mistakes. Williams challenging the interior. It's
Oh, okay, actually this might be it. Thumbs up. Definitely doing the post-game discussion and breakdown of plays. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, like this is cool stuff to me. Like I think that understanding what these plays do is like, for example, on that last play with like the Javon Carter flare, like I think for us moving forward, right? If you now know that play, right? If you see that sort of like it doesn't always have to be Javon Carter. It could be like Kobe White, for example, in his spot, right? But if you ever see the Bulls looking like they're gonna set a double drag screen where they, you know, two guys come to the top of the key and look like they're about to set a screen for the ball handler, like you might be able to predict that, hey, that's a flare screen coming, right? And it'd be like, oh wait, that's a flare coming. You're gonna see, you know, the center come over and set a screen for what looked like was gonna be the first screener, right? And it's always cool when you can, I think at least for me, like when I watch the games, I'm able to predict those things. Because like there was a point last season where, and I showed it sometimes in post game, where it's like I knew the Bulls were about to run a horn set where if they had Patrick Williams bring the ball up, like I knew it was a horn set immediately because it would like that was the only time that they would run the horn set with. You would have Giddey in the high post, and you would put him in the high post with the basketball, and he would like look around for cutters and open shooters. But it was just really cool just to see those moments, at least for myself, where it's like, hey, Pat's bringing up the ball. All right, it's horn set for the Bulls. Obviously, you know, I'm not gonna be giving out that information to like the opponent, right? Because that would be a really annoying disadvantage for the Bulls, right? But yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's a cool thing to watch and have fun with. Like, it's cool when you're able to predict those plays. God damn it, man. We're not gonna. Yeah, I want to. Sorry. This play, unfortunately, I don't have it. It's stuck, as you can see here. It's in the loading screen here. It's at 4:20, I believe, for the Bulls, or in the game in the first quarter. I'm sorry, hold on. Let me get the. This was Patrick Williams. He turned it over at 4:20. Yeah, it was 4:20 in the first quarter. Unfortunately, I don't have it. If you see here, this is when I get back to the game here, which really sucks. I do apologize. That really pisses me off. So I do apologize about that. But that play was a messed up play, and it was late in the shot clock, and it's not Patrick Williams' fault. It's just how the possession went. But he got the turnover out of it. Let me see if this. How much of this recording is? There's a decent chunk of this recording. Like, I don't know if you guys. So like, first and foremost, this is what I think. I think it was Christopher that mentioned it. Like, this is how some of the game just kind of looked. And again, this is not my internet. I can promise you, it's not my internet. It's genuinely just Chicago Sports Network just being bad. If you actually look at, so watch what I do. I refresh it, okay, and then I have to go down, make sure this never happens, right? So we need to. I'm gonna try to see what I can do to make sure this doesn't happen. I might just have to set my computer for every game, which really sucks. But hey, whatever I gotta do. Okay, let me go to this lineup here now for the second quarter for the Bulls, and finally talk about this lineup that I was not happy with. Now I understand that the Bulls were missing a lot of guys tonight. No Herter, no Phillips, no Kobe White, obviously, and then no Vucevic. But this lineup out here, I look at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, we can definitely, we don't need to have this lineup. Like, we're good. I was also interested watching when this lineup was out there. The defensive assignments worked for the results, but I personally would have flipped around the defensive assignments if it were up to me. And let me show you what I mean from this. So let me pull this up. Come on. Why didn't Buzelis check in? Oh, okay, wait, he checked in here. Okay. 9. All right, let's just. I want to rewatch this play over, and we'll talk about the lineup out there. Odd, to say the least. Blah blah blah. Come on, move forward. Nope. Okay. So at this moment, okay, this is when Buzelis checks into the game, and it's out of bounds. So the Bulls, Patrick Williams just missed a shot, and I believe there was a foul on the offensive rebound. And so the Bulls got the ball back. Okay, so let's watch this. So inbound. All right, this is the lineup, and I'm just gonna go out and say that we do not need to see this specific lineup either. And there's another lineup later on in this quarter that I also just don't need to see. But like, we're gonna see these two in Buzelis and Okoro, like they're starting, right? I think that's fine, right? But I don't think we need Terry out here in this lineup. I know defensively, this lineup out here looks great. Like defensively, I mean, Io is like a pretty decent defender. Terry should be a good defender. We know what Okoro has been doing, and then Buzelis, right? The weakest is Jalen Smith, but even he had a good defensive game today. But I'll just let the play speak for itself, because like, if anything, the ball needs to be in either this guy's hands or this guy's hands. And watch this play. Like, this specific group on the floor, like, I want to believe in Dalen Terry, but I don't think that we can trust him to be a ball handler. And if we can't trust him to be a ball handler, then that means there's only like 2 ball handlers on the floor, and that makes the 5-out offense not look as good. Also, not to mention, I don't think that either of these guys have the best, like, they're not known to be the best shooters. I know Okoro's 3-point percentage looks all right, but it's just the lack of attempts on like an all right shooting percentage is not that threatening. Hence what we saw tonight. He missed all of his threes tonight. So all I'm trying to say though, like, I'm not blaming the players, by the way. I'm just saying that I think Billy needs to scratch this lineup. Don't run this lineup. If this was Herter instead of Dalen Terry, this is fine. If this was Kobe instead of Dalen Terry, this is also fine. You know, even if it's Trey Jones instead of Dalen Terry, I think this is also fine. Or you take out one of these guys, right? Like you move Dalen Terry down one, and then you have another guard out there that can handle the ball effectively. But this lineup here, and then I'm going to show you another lineup. I'm just like, I don't think we need to see this. Okay, possession, we did nothing. At least in what I think was effective. So I don't know. That is just odd to me. Now let me show you another lineup out there that I don't think we need to see this lineup. As you can see, I'm messing with this because College Sports Network sucks. Bear with me. All right, so this is what I found interesting. Okay, so if you want to know what the lineup is, let's see if I can back up even more here. Okay, so the new lineup out here on the floor. So if you're wondering, this is zoom action for the Cavs. This is what we call zoom action. It is Trey Jones at point, okay, and then we have This is if you can't see him right now. This is Isaac Okoro, okay, guarding Donovan Mitchell. All right. This is Zach Collins. He's our center. This is Matas Buzelis. He is guarding DeAndre Hunter. And then we have Patrick Williams, and he's guarding Evan Mobley. Okay. Now I tweeted this out during the game. I don't know what the Bulls were doing here, but so like Okoro on Mitchell, that makes sense. Like I have no issues with that. But at least in my opinion, I would want Buzelis on Mobley. And I'd put Will on Hunter, but that's just my opinion. The only thing though is just that when I watch these 5 guys try to work within the offense, like this is your only ball handler really, and then like this is your secondary ball handler. These 2 guys really don't handle the ball effectively. So watching these 2 guys on offense was rough. It's not their fault. Like I'm not here to like bash on them. Like it's not their fault. I understand. I'm also not really blaming Billy, by the way. I'm just pointing this out. Like I know Billy has to like experiment some things, but this lineup was weird. It was rough to watch because these 2 guys don't really have any sort of on-ball creation. They don't really handle it effectively. This guy, while he can handle the ball, doesn't really shoot the ball, right? And so this is like arguably your best shooter out there, and he has to be your secondary ball handler. The spacing on this was just terrible. And if I'm not mistaken, so let's just look at the timeline. So let's see. So this is when Patrick Williams subbed in, okay? And so we score here, okay? Miss free throw. We score here. We get a free throw, right? And then we finally get a sub, and we get Giddy in. But yeah, there was definitely some not so great possessions. This is a Okoro miss layup did happen. But yeah, I think that we can, yeah, like we don't need to have that lineup out there that often. Let's just see here. I don't even remember honestly what was his turnover by Buzelis. So I don't know. The results weren't, I guess, that terrible, but I think we could just not have to see that lineup out there. I know that defensively it looks enticing, right? Because good defender, Trey Jones, he could be like a scrappy defender. Buzelis is out there. And then Patrick was supposed to be a good defender if he's, locked in and everything. But it's just the lack of ability to put the ball on the deck from your forward spots. Or I guess Okoro's playing the 2 technically, so he's not even a forward, but just one of your guys out there. Between these 2, like these guys, I don't really trust putting the ball on the floor and being able to like go and like play it up and in or make the proper decision at all times. Yes, they can catch and shoot, but there's just not enough of on-ball gravity from the ball handlers in this. So it's just a bad spacing, clunky looking kind of offense with these guys out there. But hey, this is time to experiment. I appreciate Billy Donovan looking at some different lineups, and we'll see. Maybe we see this lineup again. I hope we don't. There was a lineup in the first game where it was like Terry Phillips and Patrick Williams were out there, and I think that lineup was also like I think it did okay, but it just kind of makes me a little bit scared when I just see like those guys out there where I'm like, I don't think that we need 3 of them, right? Like I don't think we need 3 of Terry, Patrick Williams, Julian Phillips, Isaac Okoro out there at all times. Like I don't think it's necessary. I think they're all too similar to be putting out there all in the same lineup and be like, all right, figure it out. Because they all kind of play the same position and do the same things. They're also only good at a few things, and some aren't really good at even some of the things that some are decent at. So it's just odd seeing it, but I get it from Billy. We gotta see some experiments, how they work. So yeah, I just want to point that out there. Just odd lineups that we had to see from Billy Donovan today, but I'm okay experimenting now. Let's just not see it come regular season. Yeah, we can live without it. Honestly, let's just see this year. Let's see if they actually have any of the stats available to us. Do we have this yet? Or are they not? Are they not? Wait, what? Wait. Oh, this is only regular season. Damn it. Okay, that sucks. I was gonna hope to see if we can like find like the net rating, but Yeah. I'm cool with actually learning to see how it works. Yeah. Sometimes I felt like we needed to stop and pop mid-range assassin instead of a forced drive or miss 3. So here's my overall kind of look at it, the mid-range. So like I'm not a person that says no mid-range. Okay. Like it's honestly very interesting for me because if you asked me about the mid-range probably like 3 years ago, I would have said that I think the mid-range is a very important shot. Are like really heavily I guess it would be more so 4 years ago now I think about it now. But I think in today's game, like I'm not saying no mid-range, but I think it's kind of like your last resort. Now come crunch time, like in fourth quarter situations, I think the mid-range is definitely something that's very viable. I think it's a pretty decent shot. Reason being is that in crunch time, the defense heavily protects the paint. All defenses do it. Defenses lock in and they say no layups, and as they should. Like I mean that's definitely the defense you need to be playing in crunch time, is just no layups, prevent all layups possible. Nothing easy, right? So because of that, if you ever see, in crunch time, like one of the rules I have in like a last second like possession for the Bulls is I don't really ever want to see the player drive in like the last second or try to drive to the basket and try to like get contact, because you'll never get the whistle. The defenses pack the paint, but the officials let everybody get away with contact in the last seconds of a game in crunch time. So hence then I think the mid-range shot is pretty valuable at that moment. Like you see a lot, like SGA for example, Luka especially, and Jalen Brunson, like these guys that are really good in crunch time, they'll go to the mid-range in crunch time and they're not afraid to do so. I think that's a good decision by them. But besides that though, like if it's the first 43 minutes of the game, I think that the mid-range needs to be like your kind of last resort. So like if a possession is just not going anywhere and you're able to like kind of step into a mid-range shot, like yeah, by all means definitely do it. If it's within the flow of the offense, I'm not opposed to taking it, but I don't think it should be the priority. Like that, I think like the way I describe it is just like within an offensive play, there are always like goals that you try to get. It's like, okay, this action is trying to step a 3-point look. If it's not a 3-point look, then we're looking to get a cut to the basket. If it's not that, then we look to drive, right? Like there's always like these different things that you're supposed to be looking for. I like the first like 3 options within like an offensive set. Like I don't want the mid-range to be in those 3 options, right? That's not something I want them to be looking for, because it's just, unfortunately, it's just not that valuable shot. Especially just in today's era, it's a different era compared to the 80s, right? It is what it is, right? And I think that's totally fine. And I understand there are mid-range goats, like DeRozan obviously is just incredible from the mid-range. Durant, in a sense, Chris Paul is also really good from there. But like even Kawhi Leonard, I would like, is also really good from there. But you still see how much they value drive to the basket, getting to the free throw line, and at least most of them, they shoot the 3 ball. DeRozan's the exception. He doesn't really shoot the 3 ball, and he's tried to, but a lot of it for him is just mid-range. Like he doesn't really even get to the paint that often, but he gets to the free throw line. I give him credit for that. Yeah, I unfortunately see him Sharp, like people think it's like the game is devolving. I think it's always evolving. I think that always looking to take the better and more efficient shot is the game evolving. Like I think it's good that the Bulls continue to shoot 43s a game, continue to attack the paint. I mean, if you actually look at the stats, the Bulls have more points in the paint than the Cavs did by like a large margin today, which is really good. Like it's a good job by the Bulls, and especially against this double big lineup that they that the Cavs run out there. Mid-range will always have its spot in the game, but to me, it should never be the priority. Should never ever be the priority. Yeah, it's just kind of how the game is now. And I think it's good to see the Bulls are adapting to it, right? And we've seen like players come in and out that have also adapted. So like I think Levine especially did adapt to it when he was here, because like he would, especially in his like early Bulls days, he'd be more than willing to take the mid-range shot, and like he'll take like an 18-foot fadeaway for absolutely no goddamn reason, and it's just like, brother, you're an insane 3-point shooter and you can get to the basket at will. Like I guess not get to the basket at will, but you're an insane finisher at the rim for guard. Like I don't need you to be taking those shots early in the shot clock. If it's obviously late in the shot clock, then yeah, take the mid-range. Like, I don't care. You know, you just got to get a shot off, and, you know, you're a shot maker. You make those. But we just don't need to be prioritizing those mid-range looks now. And, you know, since last season, I think the Bulls have done a good job. As you can see here, I mean, you could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you want to count this one. Like 6 mid-range shots taken. Like, that's, I think, a good job by the Bulls. You're taking shots in the rim, which is the most efficient shot, which is a field goal percentage, right? And then shots at the three-point line, which is the most efficient shot in terms of jump shots, okay? Always your priority, and the Bulls have more free throws than the Cavs tonight. So, I think they did, right? Oh, we actually tied. Never mind. My bad. Yeah, like, these are the shots you should always be looking to take. Yeah, I don't know. I know people have their, you know, opinions about it, but I'm personally just like, I think the Bulls they're doing it really well for now, especially with the team that they have. Yeah, I don't like that lineup. Just wouldn't have DTA on the ball. I don't hate that lineup. I just wouldn't have DTA on the ball. I agree. Yeah, you need to make sure that your ball handlers are definitely handling the ball in some lineups. Yeah, maybe matchup based from Billy. Oh, the Okoro, P-Will, Buzelis lineup. Yeah, I can understand the matchup like idea from it, I guess, because you want to put a Okoro on Mitchell. And then you want to have some size in the front court alongside Collins, so you have both P-Will and Buzelis out there to play, you know, Mobley, and then if like Allen's also in there, then you have Collins on Allen. I don't know. I feel like that we could just find different, like, if you threw Giddey out there instead, like, I think it would be a little bit better, instead of having those 3 guys handling your 2 through 4. So like you'd have Trey Jones, Giddey, and or I guess the way I look at it, I guess it'd be Giddey, Trey Jones, Okoro, Buzelis, and Collins, or, you know, take one out and put one in between Okoro, P-Will, and Buzelis. But yeah, I think at all times I always want like 3 guys that I think can like put the ball on the deck pretty confidently and go to the rim. I don't feel that in that lineup for sure. Yeah, experiments. Good time to always experiment stuff. So I'm not like, I'm flipping out about it. All right. Let's see here. I want to change the music, as we are definitely winding down, from for the stream. If you have not already hit the like button on the stream, whether you're watching it currently or if you're watching the VOD, please hit the like button. Helps me out a ton. You're gonna hear an ad. I do apologize. YouTube has won over my ad block, so sorry about that. That was not meant to happen. Sorry, I wanted to change the music, so new music. Woohoo. Before we go ahead and end stream, though, we're going to be talking about the next game for the Chicago Bulls here, which is going to be on Sunday. So, I don't think the Bears play on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, right? Am I correct about that? Didn't the Bears play on Monday? Yeah, they do. Okay, perfect. So, we do not have to worry about the Bulls and the Bears on at the same time. So I appreciate that a lot by the all the scheduling. So that's very nice. This is a damn good game, though. Holy I mean, Detroit should win this game, but damn. Good Sunday night football game, but I will be watching the Chicago Bulls instead. All right, Bulls play on Sunday here against the Milwaukee Bucks. We will be facing them at 6 p.m. Central Time here on Chicago Sports Network. We're at the United Center. We'll see if Giannis plays. I honestly don't know what the hell is happening. I know there's like all this stuff going on about Giannis and everything. He gave the 6 to 7 months you know, kind of thoughts and everything. I'm just like, what? Okay, whatever. We'll see what happens, but nothing's gonna happen anytime soon here. But we'll see if Giannis plays. I hope he does, and I hope that most of the Bulls regulars do also play. However, I won't be shocked if the Bulls bench all their main guys in this one. Now, what tells me that they won't do that is because Vooch rested tonight. So like, it'd be kind of weird if Vooch rested for 2 games in a row. So my guess is that the Bulls are going to be full out playing in this one for most of the game. Like, maybe starters play through the third quarter, and then the starters will be done after that. But my guess is that most of the regulars will be playing in this one, unless something changes. Yeah, next game is gonna be 6 p.m. Central Time for the Bulls, against the Milwaukee Bucks. I hope Giannis plays. It'd be good to see Buzelis get some time against Giannis and, try to guard Giannis a little bit. Also try to score on Giannis, right? I think that's something I want to really see if Buzelis can take that challenge. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun thing if Giannis is available. Bucks are in a weird spot in their whole franchise. Like, Giannis is still there, but they, obviously, like, the Drew Holiday left a while ago, but like they don't really have like the big three anymore. Chris Middleton declined after his injuries and got traded to Washington. Kyle Kuzma was the return, and he's had it rough there. So we'll see how Milwaukee is going to end up playing, and who even is going to be kind of their guys. Miles Turner's now there, so that was the big acquisition for the Milwaukee Bucks this summer. So we'll get to see Miles Turner hopefully play in a Bucks uniform for the first time on Sunday. So as per usual, post-game stream will be here on this channel around 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So whenever the game does end, come on over here to do the post-game stream, and we'll be talking about yet again the Bulls and I just realized the music's pretty loud. Talk about the Bulls and what happened in this game, and breaking stuff down. I probably want to focus a little bit more on the defense. I'm giving some grace to the Bulls defense in these first two games because it's the first two games, but the Bulls are gonna have 2 days off now, so they have Friday and Saturday off. I know the Bulls are gonna practice no matter what, at least one of those days. So I'm gonna hope that the defense is gonna look at least a tiny bit better in that game against the Milwaukee Bucks. There's definitely been some positive moments. Like, I even showed some positive moments in the last stream, but I think that there's been some really rough moments, especially early in games. Seems like the Bulls are just not coming out ready to play for whatever reason. So hopefully they can come out and set a better tone. I know the second quarter was like pretty good defensively from both teams, but I also kind of think that second quarter was just like, it was kind of preseason rust from a lot of these guys. Like, there were some terrible passes by the Cavs that weren't even forced by the Bulls and their defense. It was just terrible passes. I'm not going to put too much stock into that just yet, but let's see if the Bulls can be better defensively in this game here. Again, 6 p.m. Central Time start for the game. Chicago Sports Network. So again, if you need some way to watch this game because Chicago Sports Network, you don't want to pay for it, here, join my Discord. I'm gonna send a fresh Discord invite link right now, because the one in my description I found out is expired. So let me load up Discord here, and then we can I'll send in a fresh link, and you can message me in the Discord here under Bulls Talk, and I'm gonna try to hook you guys up with something if you need any sort of help with it. But let me get this out. There's a fresh link for the Discord if you want to go ahead and join it. Also, so I've been teasing this announcement thing for a long time, and I know it's still not, they're still not out yet. I sincerely apologize, but I can guarantee you, at least unless something goes wrong here, I at least can guarantee you it's going to be out by Saturday, at the latest. Could be Friday, it could be Saturday. All I'm going to ask for you guys is that there's going to be something that's going to drop on Saturday at the latest from me that is not going to be from my Twitter or from my channel. So that's kind of a little bit of a teaser for what I'm trying to announce here. But I'll be probably either you're going to see me tweet out, hey, go to this site, or you're going to see me retweet something from a specific Twitter page. But if you guys could go just click on whatever I send out to you guys from my Twitter, and also what I'm going to post in Discord, and I'll probably post in my community tab as well on YouTube. But if you guys could just go support it when it does come out, that will be awesome. I would sincerely appreciate it. But I hope you guys enjoy what I'm about to give to you guys. It's going to be a fun thing. It's a nice announcement. Fun for the content for the Bulls this season. So looking forward to it, honestly. All right. So yeah, once again, 6 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. We're going to see how the Bulls face the Milwaukee Bucks. Cubs playing Saturday. Oh, that's right. Okay, Cubs are still alive. Did the Cubs play today? Oh yeah, they did play today. They're still alive. Oh my God, I did not. So it's 2-2, huh? I did not realize that they even. Oh, that's NHL. Sorry. I know the Dodgers moved on. Oh wow, the Cubs actually did it. Okay, so they tied up 2-2, but we're going back to Milwaukee here. So, yeah, good job. Holy hell. Good job, Cubs. Yeah, so Bears play on Monday. Bulls gonna be playing on Sunday, and then Cubs play on Saturday. So Cubs first, Bulls second, and then Bears third. Do you think Kevin Knox will play in Milwaukee? So you weren't here earlier, CM Sharp, but we got official word, and it's crazy. I didn't even know this until I looked it up on stream. Kevin Knox was waived. If you're wondering why this happened, so the Bulls signed him to an Exhibit 10 contract. An Exhibit 10 contract is a training camp contract only, but the incentive of an Exhibit 10 contract is that if you sign it with the team and then you get waived, if you go and play for that team's G League team for like I think it's 60 days. I'll have to double check that though once I'm done with stream here. But if you go and play for that team's G League team for a certain amount of time, you get like an extra cash bonus. Actually, let me just look it up now, so I can actually give you actual answer. Okay, actually, wow. All right, I sometimes my brain always surprises me. Yeah, so it's a 1-year minimum salary agreement that isn't guaranteed. It includes an optional bonus of $75,000 that will be rewarded if a player, after he is waived, spends at least 60 days with the team's G League affiliate. Yeah. So that is the reason why. That's the reason why CM Sharp. That's the reason why Kevin Knox signed the contract and was pretty much immediately waived after. Expect him to play for the Windy City Bulls after preseason here. And so, you know, if you want to go and see how he does, watch the Windy City Bulls. But he is no longer on the training camp roster and will no longer be participating in training camp if he ever even did participate, which I don't think he did. The whole point of this was just so that he can be on our G League team when that starts up, which that starts up in when the regular season, after the regular season starts. So that's the reason why the Kevin Knox signing happened. So you will not be seeing him in preseason at all. So don't expect to see him at all. Which I think is fine. I think that's totally fine. There's really honestly no drawback to this besides that I just hope that if Asenge is going to be playing in the G League, that like Kevin Knox doesn't take his minutes in the G League, which I don't think he would, honestly. I'd be shocked if someone on a G League contract is taking up minutes from Asenge if he is down there. I'd be heavily shocked if that is the case. So there really is no drawback to this, honestly, by the Bulls and Kevin Knox. So good luck to Kevin Knox. Definitely not the way his career wanted to go. He drafted in 2018, 9th overall pick by New York. His rookie season was like, I guess, his best season, but like 37% from the field is terrible. So he has a lot of work to do, man. Played for Golden State last season. I somehow remember that of all of his teams. I forgot he played for Atlanta. That does not even, I don't remember that at all. I remember Detroit. I do not remember Portland. So he's definitely been an NBA journeyman in just a few years here. So we'll see. He's only 24 or 25, I guess. So 26 actually. So we'll see what happens. Discord. Are you asking if I'm going to post in Discord? I will be posting in Discord, Boo Boo Baba. My announcement that should be out on Saturday. So, it will be posted on Discord, and posted in the community tab. Hope you guys enjoy it. Probably hope Caleb is probably still hope Caleb is real, bro. I think Caleb is real, man. I love what I've seen from Caleb. I know that. That Vikings loss sucked opening week. Detroit, obviously, that Detroit loss sucked, but I expect to lose to Detroit. That Dallas game was incredible, but they have no pass rush. But then, hey, we did it. We did it last game against the Raiders. So, which they're a terrible team, but Not pretty win, but you got the win. Caleb got some pretty important touchdowns in that one, so I was not happy that this was a bye week this past week. Kind of poor timing, I think, after 2 wins in a row, but hopefully they were able to iron up some things, and Ben Johnson kind of got to work his magic. But I think Caleb is going to be the one. Like, he continues to impress me, where it's like, he has these throws, man, and I'm just like, wow, like, you're running to your right at full speed, off balance, you're still able to get the throw off. Like, even if like the receiver doesn't catch it, he's still able to put it in a spot that's catchable. But hey, I watch every Bears game I can. I'm not a football analyst, unfortunately. I wish I could call out defensive coverages like I can in the NBA, but I can't. But yeah, man, I like what I see from Caleb so far. My thing is that here's my hot take. I don't even know if it's hot anymore, because I think a lot of Bears fans are starting to catch up, but like, Poles did the trade, like, obviously that got us Caleb Williams, and like, he'll always get credit for that, and he deserves credit. But man, there are just some decisions by Poles, man, that I'm just like, what the hell are we doing? He got a contract extension, and I'm just like, what the hell is it with general managers of Chicago sports teams that get a contract extension for like no success whatsoever? Like, Poles, even if you thought that Poles did a good job, there is no reason to give him a contract extension. Like, just like how AK does not deserve a contract extension, or how the Cubs and their general manager, I forgot who it is, but he didn't deserve one either. It's like, there has been no success from these teams besides arguably the Cubs, who are fighting for their playoff lives right now, which, you know, good job by them. It's 2-2. But I mean, if the Cubs don't win this next game, it's just like you haven't won a series in the playoffs, bro. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I'm not counting wild card, which I guess I should, but I don't know. It's just odd. But I mean, yeah, there's definitely some decisions by Poles that I'm just like, what? I mean, look, I'm hoping Doomsday is like, it looks like this is the breakout year from Doomsday. Like, I'm hoping it's going to continue. I like Luther Burden. I think he's a good wide receiver. But I mean, I think the defense still needs a lot of help. I know Jalen Johnson's out, which is not Poles' fault, but like, I think the secondary, when it's healthy, is all right. It's the pass rush all of a sudden, which is so weird to say as a Bears fan, that I'm just like, man, the pass rush suddenly for the Bears looks bad. I never thought I'd ever say that in my lifetime as a Bears fan, is that the pass rush looks awful, but we can't stop the run consistently, and we can't get enough sacks. I know Montez Sweat is like not, like, he hasn't really performed in the last 2 seasons, but like, I don't really want to blame him fully, because I feel like he kind of gets double teamed a lot, and it's less like, because yeah, like, no one else is that effective. I also know, I mean, I know TJ Edwards has been out, but yeah. Yeah. Ben Johnson I think was a good coach signing, but also Poles didn't fire Eberflus after he fired him 1 year too late. Like, when you drafted Caleb, I feel like you had to reset fully. Like, you had to get a new coach, you had to completely reset, but you decided to keep Eberflus, which made no damn sense. Yes, and then allowed Eberflus to, you know, bring in Waldron as offensive coordinator, which was just like, what are we doing? Yeah, I digress. That's my Bears talk of the night. Yeah. Nice to develop, man. But man, I need him to be the silence the dudes that hate on him. I mean, bro, he gets so much hate for stuff that's not even football related. I just don't understand why. Like, bro, like, I'm sorry if you don't like him painting his fingernails, but like, why do you care? I think it's cool. Like, bro, people are complaining about Caleb's undershirt that he's wearing under his jersey. I'm just like, why do we do this, people? Like, I can't stand it when people do this, man. I think Caleb deserves some criticism for sure. Like, he last season held on to the ball too much, but he also had no offensive line. Yeah, I think Caleb, like, these past 2 games have been great, or I guess not great, but like, Cowboys game great, Raiders game was decent to good to all right. You know, he had some important drives that he converted on, including the last one at the end of the game. You know, he had that touchdown to a Doomsday also in the second half. But yeah, I think that, like, it's so crazy because like everyone's like, oh, Jane Daniels and everything, but like Daniels has also had a weird start to his season this year, and he's been injured. But yeah, I think he's gonna be the one. But I know quarterbacks in Chicago are just cursed. Yeah, I think people are too critical of him for things that don't really deserve to be criticized that are not football related, I guess. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to be looking at. I think he was about to attach himself to Ben Johnson based on the contract extension. Oh, I mean, yeah, like getting Ben Johnson was obviously great, and thank God the Bears didn't mess that one up, because like I also think like getting Ben Johnson was not just a polls thing. It's like, are the Bears willing to hand over the blank check to Ben Johnson, which they did. Good job. Because I was genuinely concerned that the Bears were like, they wanted Ben Johnson, but they weren't willing to pay him. I was genuinely concerned about that, because you're paying also Eberflus in his contract because you fired him. But yeah, I'm glad they got him. We'll see what happened. We're facing the Commanders, right? Is that what I saw? For the Bears. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun game, especially if Daniels is able to play. Yeah, that'll be fun. Need Swift to not be negative. Yeah, Swift, like, I honestly don't know what to do with Swift, honestly. He's just been like, somehow also Roschon Johnson's just like no longer part of the running back rotation. Which is just odd, but I guess that they just look at him that way. Yeah, Swift just does not need to be, like, if he just wasn't such a negative, like, he gets tackled so easily, and I was just like, okay. The biggest thing though that I give Ben Johnson a lot of credit for is just that, like, even though that Swift has been like a negative, and like they don't have, like, you know, like the best running back group right now, he still does enough run plays, like even with like Caleb, for example, or like he'll put like DJ Moore in the backfield, right? Which I'm like, yeah, you gotta run. you gotta at least do enough run plays, right, to keep the defense honest. So it can only help Caleb if you get the run game going, and I appreciate that Ben Johnson has been willing to still do enough run game even when the guys in his running back core aren't really doing the job. But yeah, the wide receivers are doing work, with mostly Odunze, and honestly, like, the Kias has honestly been pretty solid too. Cole Kmet had a horrible game last game. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. God, man, that was a horrible game from him. I know Loveland should be available this upcoming week, but yeah. But we don't need another game from Cole Kmet like that. That was definitely a little bit of a shocker. Yeah, let's hope for something good in Chicago sports, man. If the Bears can be it, that'd be great. You know, new stadium's coming along soon, so that'd be great to see. All right, y'all. I appreciate the time. It is past midnight here in Chicago time, so I sincerely appreciate all of you. Thank you guys so much. This has been honestly like two of my, like, it's been just an incredibly fun time. It's probably because basketball is back, but these are preseason games, and I'm enjoying the hell out of these streams. So thank you guys so much for making this an enjoyable place, making it a great community, and just keeping the vibes positive, man. This is a great start to the season in terms of the community, and I sincerely do appreciate it. And it can't just be from me; it has to be from you guys as well, and you guys are doing a great job. So let's continue being welcoming in the community and continue to grow the community, and you know, just have fun with this bowl season, even if it's not gonna be the best results overall. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I sincerely do appreciate it. If you have not hit the like button yet, please do. Helps me out a ton. Thank you to everyone that did watch the ads. Helps me out a lot. I have to run ads to you know, to get some money off of this, so thank you guys so much. If you do watch the ads, it means a lot. If you're new to the Bulls channel, like Bulls content, please subscribe. With that being said, though, I will be seeing you guys at least the latest. It'll be on Sunday. You might see me in a video earlier than that. But with that being said, I'll see you guys on Sunday. Peace out, y'all. Thank you. Have a good night. Be safe. Please be safe. I'll see you later.